Chapter 3:18. 3,000 miles northwest of Full Moon City, there was a quiet valley. Lu Ming appeared outside the valley. Then Lu Ming moved and went into the valley. After about 1,000 meters, Lu Ming stopped. In front of him, there was a huge blood cocoon floating in the air. The GoldenEye blood zombie is going to evolve. Lu Ming whispered. That's right, the blood cocoon in front of him was the GoldenEye blood zombie. Previously, Lu Ming had led the GoldenEye blood zombie and the red blood armored cavalry to kill hundreds of thousands of Moon soldiers. The GoldenEye blood zombie had absorbed too much blood and aura and had begun to evolve on the way back to Full Moon City. They could only find a quiet place to let it evolve. After Lu Ming returned to Full Moon City, he finished his business and rushed over to check on the situation. I don't know how long it will take for the GoldenEye blood zombie to evolve. Now, it seems that the situation is stable. I'll go back to Full Moon City first and check on it later. Thinking of this, Lu Ming turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the sky. Soon after, he returned to Full Moon City. Greetings, Marquis Champion. Greetings, Marquis Champion. Once he returned to Full Moon City, the officials and the general of the mountain army bowed respectfully when they saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded in response. Soon, he returned to the Red Blood Army camp. Everything was normal. Hua Ying was indeed a good commander. Under his management, the Red Blood Cavalry and the other soldiers were cultivating hard. Lu Ming was very assured about this. In the Temple of Paragon, Lu Ming sat cross-legged. A huge stone tablet floated above his head. What was different was that there were 4 silver chakras around the tablet. That's right, Lu Ming's second bloodline had evolved. Lu Ming felt that the 9 Dragons bloodline had reached the limit of ordinary level 9, but it was difficult to evolve. No matter how much blood chi it refined, it was still at ordinary level 9. Therefore, Lu Ming had used the blood chi he had devoured to evolve his second bloodline. In that battle, he had devoured so much essence blood that his second bloodline had successfully evolved. His cultivation had also reached the peak of the 3rd layer martial ancestor realm. I don't know when the 9 Dragons bloodline will reach the king level. Forget it. I don't want to think about it. When the time comes, it will naturally come naturally. Right now, the 9 Dragons heaven step is the most important. Lu Ming pondered. After this period of cultivation, coupled with the continuous battles, Lu Ming finally had some understanding of the 9 Dragons heaven stomping steps. Lu Ming took out the secret manual of the 9 Dragons heaven stomping steps and read it carefully. Then he closed his eyes and carefully comprehended it. An hour later, Lu Ming suddenly stood up and casually stepped to the side. Wong. At this time, Lu Ming's body seemed to resonate with the heavens and earth. His body emitted an inexplicable fluctuation that was extremely mysterious. What a strong pressure! At this moment, Lu Ming felt a terrifying pressure acting on his body. He felt as if his body was about to explode from the pressure. Dong! Finally, Lu Ming stepped on the ground. At this moment, the entire Temple of Paragon shook violently. The ground rumbled as if it was about to explode. Phew! After stepping on the ground, Lu Ming let out a long breath. The mysterious fluctuation on his body disappeared, and the pressure on his body disappeared without a trace. What a strong pressure! No wonder Supreme 9 Suns told me that I must break through the martial ancestor realm and my physical body reach the 4th layer before I can cultivate the 9 Dragons heaven stomping steps. If my physical body and cultivation don't meet the requirements, I'm afraid I'll explode from the pressure. Lu Ming sighed. However, his eyes were filled with excitement. I haven't completed the first step yet, but the power is already extremely shocking. the supreme divine palace, is indestructible, but it actually caused such a vibration. If I took a step on the ground, I'm afraid the ground would explode. Lu Ming was extremely satisfied with the power of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. It was indeed a divine, level martial skill. Continue. After that, Lu Ming continued to cultivate. He wanted to complete the first step of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. Time flashed by, and another month passed. In a month, the Qi Xie cavalries had made incredible progress. With the continuous supply of medicinal pills, the remaining 30,000 Qi Xie cavalries had all broken through to the martial master realm. This had greatly increased the strength of the Qi Xie cavalries. Of course, the consumption of medicinal pills was also terrifying. 30,000 people had consumed the medicinal pills that were originally prepared for 100,000 people. That was why their cultivation had increased so quickly. Apart from the 30,000 Qi Xie cavalries, the other soldiers' cultivation had also increased a lot. The fastest one had increased his cultivation by 3 whole levels. The worst one had increased his cultivation by 1 level. Lu Ming's army of 80,000 people had become much stronger. During this month, the outside world had not been peaceful. It could be said that a storm was brewing. However, there were 2 people who had attracted the most attention. One was Duan Mulin. After being silent for many years, Duan Mulin had finally erupted. He had consecutively challenged 10 extremely famous golden grade disciples of the 5 great sections. He had won one battle after another. He had almost challenged the 6 heroes of the Blazing Sun Empire. Just when everyone thought that he would challenge the 6 heroes of the Blazing Sun Empire, he had stopped. This made many people wonder how strong Duan Mulin was. The other person was even more shocking. He was Qiu Changkong. For some reason, Qiu Changkong had a conflict with Gu Yuyan, who was ranked 22nd on the Emperor leaderboard. The result was shocking. In the end, it had ended with Gu Yuyan being killed. Qiu Changkong was ranked 36th on the Emperor leaderboard. However, he had killed Gu Yuyan, who was ranked 22nd. This was not only shocking in the Blazing Sun Empire, but also in the 36 empires of the Emperor leaderboard. Qiu Changkong's strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. Among the 36 empires of the Emperor leaderboard, there were 8 middle-ranked empires. Of the 36 geniuses on the Emperor leaderboard, 32 of them were from the 8 middle-ranked empires. Only 4 of them were from the low-ranked empires. It was already shocking that Qiu Changkong could be ranked on the Emperor leaderboard. This had caused an even greater commotion. These 2 pieces of news naturally reached Lu Ming's ears. However, when Lu Ming heard it, he smiled faintly and continued to cultivate. There is movement from the golden eye. On this day, when Lu Ming was cultivating, he suddenly felt that something was wrong with the demon suppression token. It was emitting a faint light. Perhaps the golden eye has completed its evolution. Let's go and see how much the golden eye can improve. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with anticipation. The golden eye blood zombie was already at the peak of the 7th realm of the martial arts grandmaster realm. If it evolved again, it would definitely be stronger. It would be a great help to Lu Ming. Lu Ming left the full moon city and turned into a ray of light. He headed toward the valley where the golden eye blood zombie was. Lu Ming did not notice that not long after he left the full moon city, a few figures in the distant grassland rushed into the sky and followed him. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the valley and walked in. In front of him, the smell of blood was extremely strong. The blood cocoon was filled with blood light. When Lu Ming stepped into the valley, the blood light in front of him suddenly shrunk. Crack! Chapter 319. This figure was the Golden Eye Blood Zombie. However, it was slightly different from before. Its golden pupils had become even more dazzling, as if 2 pieces of gold had been embedded in them. The green hair on its skin had faded a lot, making its skin appear blood red and translucent. It looked like it was made of fiery red steel and was full of power. The aura of the Golden Eye Blood Zombie was more than 5 or 6 times stronger than before. How could it be so much stronger? This aura is definitely not the aura of an 8th level martial arts grandmaster. Could it be that the Golden Eye Blood Zombie has reached the 9th level martial arts grandmaster? Lu Ming's mind raced, and his eyes were filled with surprise. Roar! The Golden Eye Blood Zombie growled and came to Lu Ming's side. Let's go back to Full Moon City, Lu Ming said. Then, together with the Golden Eye Blood Zombie, they shot into the sky and flew toward Full Moon City. However, before they had flown for more than 10 miles, Lu Ming suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Roar! At this moment, the Golden Eye Blood Zombie let out an earth-shattering roar and rushed toward Lu Ming's head. Chi-chi! Above Lu Ming's head, a dark cloud suddenly split open. 2 pale white saber radiances, faster than lightning, slashed toward Lu Ming's head. Boom! Boom! The Golden Eye Blood Zombie and the 2 saber radiances collided. Then, the Golden Eye Blood Zombie's body fell to the ground like a cannonball. Swoosh! Just as the 2 saber radiances slashed out, a black sword radiance pierced through the void behind Lu Ming and stabbed toward him. This sword was fast, accurate, ruthless, and terrifyingly powerful. 9th level martial arts grandmaster. 3 9th level martial arts grandmaster assassins. Block for me! Lu Ming roared furiously. 6 ancient shields condensed behind him and stacked together. However, Chi-chi, the 6 ancient shields were penetrated in an instant. However, this bought Lu Ming time. The second bloodline was activated instantly. He waved his left hand, and a huge beast claw struck out. At the same time, he held the demon-banishing spear in his right hand and stabbed it out. The spear was filled with the power of wind and fire. Bang! The first to bear the brunt was the giant beast claw, which was destroyed by the sword light. Following that, the tip of the demon-banishing spear clashed with the sword light. Clang! A terrifying shockwave spread out, and Lu Ming gave a muffled groan as he was sent flying back several thousand meters. Only then did he stop in the air and spit out a mouthful of blood. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, 3 figures flashed and appeared in the air. 2 of them were middle-aged men wearing blood-red robes. One of them had a full moon embroidered on it, while the other had a chipped moon embroidered on it. Both of them held a scimitar in their hands. The 2 of them stood behind Lu Ming, blocking his path of retreat. The third person was wrapped in a black robe, and his appearance could not be seen. He held a thin and black sword in his hand. He was in front of Lu Ming, and the 3 of them had faintly sealed off Lu Ming's escape route. This Tianyan is indeed difficult to deal with. I can't even kill him. The middle-aged man, with a flawless full moon embroidered on it, spoke. His voice was cold and hoarse, extremely unpleasant to the ears. That's a golden-eyed blood zombie. What a powerful golden-eyed blood zombie. It seems to have reached the early 9th realm of the martial arts grandmaster realm. It's not weaker than the 3 of us. The middle-aged man, with a chipped moon embroidered on it, said, Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and rushed out from the ground, blocking in front of Lu Ming. There were 2 deep wounds on the golden-eyed blood zombie's claws, which were caused by the scimitar radiance. Lu Ming wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His gaze landed on the thin black sword in front of him. His eyes flashed as he said, You're from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion, right? He had seen that kind of sword more than once. Hee hee, since you're going to die today, there's no harm in telling you. You guessed right. I'm the top assassin of the Shadow Wolf Pavilion. It's your honor to have me. The black-robed man sneered. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion is actually cooperating with the Moon Empire. It seems that the Decimo Sword Sect is going to play a big game of chess. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Hee hee, you seem to know quite a lot. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin sneered. Charge! Suddenly, Lu Ming shouted softly and dashed to the left. What a joke! The 3 martial arts Grandmaster Realm early-stage assassins were too strong. They were not people he could fight against. If he stayed, he would only die. Only by charging out would he have a chance of survival. Trying to escape? How is that possible? Die! The 3 assassins roared and attacked. 2 scimitars and 1 scimitar radiance pierced through the void and slashed toward Lu Ming. Fast, too fast. They were behind Lu Ming in an instant. The martial arts Grandmaster Realm 9th stage assassins were too strong. Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and rushed forward fearlessly. However, it was only 1 person after all. It was no match for the 2 scimitars and was sent flying again. If its body was not as tough as steel, it would have been cut into pieces. Clang! On the other side, Lu Ming used all his strength to exchange blows with the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin. This time, Lu Ming was sent flying even further. He coughed up blood, and one of his arms was covered with scars. He felt as if his entire body was about to split open. This blow had caused him to be even more severely injured. Kill! The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin shouted coldly. His murderous intent surged as he continued to attack Lu Ming. Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie rushed out from the ground again. Leave this beast to the 2 of us. You're in charge of killing Tianyun. Yuan Ke shouted coldly and charged toward the golden-eyed blood zombie. Don't worry. Tianyun will die. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin's voice was extremely cold. His scimitar radiance became sharper as it pierced through the sky. A sword scar that was a few miles long appeared in the sky, as if it was going to cut the sky apart. 9 dragons stomping the sky. Boom! At that moment, Lu Ming unleashed all his strength. His true chi surged as he roared into the sky, and suddenly took a step forward. A strange wave of energy emanated from Lu Ming's body. Following that, a terrifying force exploded from Lu Ming's feet. A dragon's roar suddenly sounded. It was as if a supreme true dragon was stepping in the sky, crushing everything. After a month of hard work, he had finally mastered the first step of the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. Boom! This step collided with the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin's scimitar radiance. With an earth-shattering boom, Lu Ming's body flew far away again. However, the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin was also stunned by this blow and stopped. How is this possible? The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin let out a hysterical roar. He could not believe it. He could clearly see that Tianyun was only at the peak of the martial arts Grandmaster 3rd Realm, while he was at the early stage of the martial arts Grandmaster 9th Realm. There was a difference of about 6 levels. It could be said that they were worlds apart. With such a huge difference, it was already a miracle that Ling Yun could survive 2 strikes of his scimitar. But now, Ling Yun had actually blocked his attack. This was simply a fantasy. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin had lived for so long, but he had never heard of such a thing. His self-confidence had been severely damaged. Die! 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 The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin roared and charged toward Lu Ming in a frenzy. Lu Ming's talent terrified him. 9 dragons, heaven-stomping steps. Lu Ming roared. This time, he did not step toward the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin. Instead, he stepped toward the space behind him. As a divine martial technique, The Nine Dragons' heaven-stomping steps was not only used for attacking. Chapter 3:20. With one step, Lu Ming's figure suddenly disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already 10 miles away. 10 miles in one step. This was the terrifying power of the Nine Dragons' heaven-ascending steps. Moreover, Lu Ming had only mastered the first step. According to the records of the Nine Dragons' heaven-ascending steps, when cultivated to the highest level, one would be like 9 dragons. With one step, one could travel hundreds of millions of miles. It was unimaginably powerful. Right now, Lu Ming was still far from it. Damn it, you can't escape. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin roared furiously and chased after Lu Ming. To a martial arts grandmaster, 10 miles was a matter of a few breaths. Without thinking, Lu Ming took another step. With a flash of his body, he moved as fast as lightning and crossed a distance of 10 miles under his feet. Puff! Suddenly, Lu Ming's body trembled, and he spat out another mouthful of blood. He was already severely injured. Using the Nine Dragons' heaven-ascending steps consumed a lot of energy. Moreover, the pressure from heaven and earth was also extremely great. This caused his injuries to worsen. The difference was too great. There was no way he could fight back. He could only escape. Swoosh! Behind him, the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin chased after him relentlessly. Even further behind, the Golden-Eye Blood Zombie was holding Yuan Ke back. Tianyun, hand over your martial technique, and I'll leave your corpse intact. The Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin shouted. The martial technique Lu Ming used was too shocking. He was envious. If he could get it, how strong would his combat power be? His desire to kill Lu Ming grew even stronger. What a joke! If you have the ability, come and get it yourself. Lu Ming sneered and took another step. Buzz! Heaven and earth trembled slightly. Lu Ming's body was like a bolt of lightning sweeping across the void. In an instant, he was 10 miles away, widening the distance between him and the Shadow Wolf Pavilion assassin. Damn it, damn it! I don't believe you can use such a powerful martial technique continuously. Today you must die. The assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion roared loudly, and a huge black wolf rose from his body. He chased after Lu Ming with all his might. Every time Lu Ming took a step forward, he would take 2 breaths and then take another step forward. It was these 2 breaths that allowed his opponent to close the distance between them. Just like this, one fled while the other chased. In the blink of an eye, they had crossed 1,000 miles. Lu Ming's body was bleeding profusely. The continuous use of the Nine Dragons' heaven-stomping steps had caused him too much damage. His skin cracked open and blood flowed freely. The true qi in his body was becoming increasingly scarce, and he could not hold on for much longer. Suddenly, there was a burst of moisture in front of him. It was a great river that was incomparably wide, surging across the prairie. Deh! Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he took another step along the river. 10 li away, Lu Ming looked ahead. The great river forked in front. Moreover, it wasn't a single fork, but rather a fan shape, opening up 5 forks, 5 branches, flowing towards the entire prairie, nurturing the creatures of the prairie. The heavens are helping me. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Without thinking, he plunged into the great river. The river was extremely deep, more than 100 meters deep. Lu Ming sank directly to the bottom of the river and swam rapidly forward. Swoosh! In just 4 to 5 breaths, the assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion appeared above the great river. Trying to escape? Dream on. Kill. The assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion shouted loudly as he slashed out with his battle sword. Dense and sharp sword qi shot toward the river. Instantly, the river surged and many large fish were killed. Their corpses floated to the surface, and blood dyed the river red. Die. The assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion seemed to have gone mad as he continuously slashed out sword chi at the river. Boom, boom. Sword chi shot out continuously, covering the entire river surface. At the bottom of the river, Lu Ming swam like a fish, dodging the sword chi. Splat! However, the sword chi was too dense, and one sword chi still pierced through Lu Ming's shoulder, almost chopping off his arm. Blood flowed profusely. Lu Ming snorted and continued to move forward. 5 forks appeared in front of him. Lu Ming chose one at random and swam down quickly. Above him, the assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion ravaged this part of the river as if he had gone mad. However, he still did not see Lu Ming's figure. Then he rushed into the river and started searching. After searching everywhere, he still could not find Lu Ming. When he reached the fork, his face was completely distorted. He did not know which fork Lu Ming had gone to. Moreover, it was impossible to chase after the enemy based on the aura in the river. The river water would disperse the aura. Swoosh! He rushed into the sky and looked around. Then he roared furiously, "Damn it, damn it!" Lu Ming followed the river and swam down. He did not know how far he had drifted. Lu Ming felt more and more weak. His vision turned black, and he felt waves of intense pain all over his body. He knew that his injuries were too severe previously, and they were acting up now. No, I have to find a place to heal. Otherwise, I'll be in danger. Then Lu Ming wiped his face and took off his disguise mask, revealing his true appearance. His body had already returned to its original state due to his injuries. Then he changed into a new set of clothes. Lu Ming continued to drift along the river for a while, in case the assassin from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion caught up to him. In the evening, a group of people hurried along the main road beside the Sioux River. There were more than 10 people. Most of them were burly middle-aged men. They exuded a heavy aura. It was obvious that they were martial arts experts. Riding at the front were 2 young people, a man and a woman. The man was handsome, but his long and narrow eyes gave people a gloomy feeling. The woman wore a long green dress. Her figure was graceful, and her curves were undulating. She was extremely beautiful. However, the woman seemed to have something on her mind. Her brows were tightly furrowed. "Stop!" Suddenly, the woman shouted softly. She pulled the horse under her and made it stop. The others also stopped. "Mo-ing, why did you suddenly stop?" The young man asked with a frown. "There's someone ahead." Mo-ing said. The group looked ahead. Indeed, they saw a figure climbing out of the Sioux River. After the figure climbed onto the bank, he staggered as if he would fall down at any moment. "Yin and Yang!" The figure looked at everyone and suddenly screamed. Then he fell straight to the ground. "He's just a dying man. Why do you care so much about him? Let's hurry back to Tiansu City. The young prince came specially to see you. Don't keep him waiting." The young man casually glanced at the figure and said nonchalantly, "I want to save him." After saying that, Mo-ing jumped off her horse and walked toward the figure. "What? You want to save him? You want to save a piece of trash like him?" The young man shouted. However, he did not see the shock in Mo-ying's eyes. "How did he know? Can he cure me? I'm the only one who knows about this. But this person can tell at a glance. I must save him." Mo-ing thought as she helped the figure up. She was slightly shocked when she saw him. He's so young. The figure who climbed out of the river was naturally Lu Ming. He drifted along the river for a while. Unexpectedly, his injuries were more serious than he thought. Chapter 321. Lu Ming tried his best to climb to the shore, but he was already exhausted and could faint at any time. But then he saw Mo Ing and the others. The moment he saw Mo Ing, his 9 dragons bloodline throbbed for some reason. He could clearly feel the cultivation situation in Mo Ying's body. Mo Ying's bloodline was definitely related to dragons. He realized that there were 2 types of qi in Mo Ying's body. That was why he screamed before he fainted. His purpose was to attract Mo Ying's attention. Mo Ying would definitely not abandon him and save him out of curiosity. He guessed right. Mo Ying was very curious about him. Mo Ying, there is no fluctuation of genuine qi in this person. He is obviously an ant. Why save him? Leave him here and follow me back to Sutian City. It will be hard to explain to the young prince if he waits for too long. At this time, the young man walked over and glanced at Lu Ming, urging him, Mo Bing. Mo Ying's face flashed with displeasure. She shouted coldly, if you are in a hurry to return to Sutian City, you can go back first. Also, I am not going back to Sutian City to see the young prince. I just want to go back. There is no need to explain to anyone. If you want to explain, do it yourself. Also, this person is seriously injured. If I don't save him, he will not live for long. I must save him. Mo Ying's tone was resolute. Mo Bing's face was livid. Then, he glared at Lu Ming viciously and turned to leave. Mo Ying looked at Lu Ming and frowned slightly. Lu Ming's injuries were too serious. This person is definitely a martial artist. Maybe he has exhausted his genuine qi. Otherwise, how could he see the abnormality in my body at a glance? But this person's injuries are too serious. I am afraid it will not be easy to save him. Mo Ying thought for a while, took out a fragrant pill, and fed it to Lu Ming. The pill melted in his mouth and turned into energy that flowed into Lu Ming's body. After a while, Lu Ming's face became a little rosier. Come, help him onto the horse. We will go slowly. Mo Ying ordered. Yes, Miss Ying. A middle-aged man stepped forward and helped Lu Ming onto a horse, letting Lu Ming lie on the horse. After that, Mo Ying got on her horse and moved forward at a speed that was not much faster than a normal person's walking speed. Moing, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? You're walking so slowly on purpose. Have you thought about the consequences of standing Little Prince up? Little Prince is the son of our Inue Empire's Jinan Prince. Mo Bing shouted coldly, You keep calling me Little Prince. I'm not Little Prince's dog. I can see whoever I want. I can walk as slowly as I want. No one can stop me. I've said it before. If you're impatient, you can go back first. Mo Ying replied coldly, with a hint of mockery. What did you say? Mo Bing was furious, but Mo Ying sneered and ignored him. Little bitch, just because you have some talent, you think you're a proud daughter of the heavens. Just you wait. One day, I'll make you regret what you said today. Mo Bing roared in his heart, but he did not say it out loud. The group moved forward at a leisurely pace. Half a day later, Lu Ming woke up. As soon as he woke up, he felt a stabbing pain all over his body. I've been cut by the Silver Wolf Pavilion Assassin's sword chi, and the pressure from using the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. My muscles and bones are all cracked. Fortunately, my internal organs are not seriously injured. I should be able to recover soon. Lu Ming secretly observed his injuries and pondered in his heart. Then Lu Ming struggled to sit up and circulated the True Dragon Battle chant to heal his injuries. At first, he did not use any true qi, but after circulating the True Dragon Battle chant several times, a wisp of true qi began to appear in his body. With the circulation of the True Dragon Battle chant, the true qi in his body increased. On the side, Mo Ying looked at Lu Ming and did not disturb him. On the other side, Mo Bing glanced at Lu Ming and a cold glint flashed in his eyes. He thought, So he's a martial artist. Humph, this time, it's all because of him that we're late. When we get back to Sutian City, I'll teach him a lesson. 2 hours later, Lu Ming had recovered 1% of his true qi. At this time, he took out 2 spirit crystals and held them in his hand to speed up the recovery of true qi. The wounds on his body were healing rapidly. At the same time, the internal injuries deep in his body were also slowly healing. This was the benefit of having a strong body. His body had reached the 5th grade, so his recovery and vitality were extremely amazing. If an ordinary person suffered such injuries, they would have died several times over. Half a day later, Lu Ming barely recovered 1/20th of his true qi. The injuries on his body were also much better, and there were no more bursts of stabbing pain. How's your recovery? At this time, Mo-ing rode over and asked, It's a little better. This time, thank you for saving my life. Lu Ming will remember it in his heart. Lu Ming clasped his fist and said, This was the Innu Empire. Of course, he could not use the name Tianyun, or he would be killed on the spot. So, he simply used the name Lu Ming. You don't have to thank me. It's just a small matter. Mo-ing pondered for a while and asked in a low voice, Young Master Lu Ming, before you fell unconscious, you shouted that qi is divided into yin and yang. What do you mean? Finally, you can't help it. Lu Ming smiled in his heart and said, You know the answer. If I'm not wrong, your bloodline should be related to the dragon. But in the process of cultivation, there is a problem. The true qi you cultivate is biased toward yin, but there is yang true qi in your bloodline. So yin and yang are not in harmony, which often causes you to suffer. Lu Ming spoke very softly, and only Mo-ing could hear him. After hearing this, Mo-ying's eyes lit up. She was very surprised and said, Young master, you can see it at a glance. It's completely correct. My bloodline is the cloud dragon, like the flood dragon. I have the bloodline of the true dragon. But I don't know why there is yang true qi, which repeatedly interferes with my cultivation. I wonder if young master has a way to solve it. After saying that, she looked at Lu Ming with a hopeful face. She had secretly looked for famous doctors and some famous inscriptionists, but she could not find a solution. She had been in despair, but now there was hope. It shouldn't be difficult. As long as you suppress the yang true qi and take it out, it will be fine. But to do this, you have to wait until my injuries are healed. Lu Ming said, Really? Well, I will buy the best elixir to let you recover as soon as possible. Mo-ing was overjoyed. Lu Ming nodded. He planned to go to Sutian City with Mo-ing first. After his injuries were healed, he would return to Full Moon City. Otherwise, with his current situation, he wouldn't even be able to fly. If he were to encounter a slightly stronger demonic beast along the way, he would become its food. That would be too unjust. Not far away, Mo-bing saw Mo-ing talking to Lu Ming as if they were very close. He immediately roared in his heart, This little bitch is really a slut. She must have taken a fancy to this little bastard. Humph! When we reach Sutian City, I will report to the young master. Let's see how you will die. Chapter 3:22. The Een Moon Empire and the Burning Sun Empire were completely different. In the Een Moon Empire, the royal family was extremely powerful and controlled everything. Below them, there were a series of powerful aristocratic families that obeyed the royal family and ruled over thousands of miles of land. Su Tiancheng was extremely majestic and was one of the top 10 cities in the Een Moon Empire. The Mo family in Su Tiancheng was also extremely prosperous and ranked in the top 10 among the aristocratic families in the Een Moon Empire. Along the way, Lu Ming learned a lot of information. For example, Mo-ing was originally a collateral disciple of the Mo family. However, she was extremely talented and was heavily nurtured by the Mo family. Now, she was already one of the top 5 geniuses in the Mo family, and her cultivation had reached the first level of the martial arts grandmaster realm. With such a status, she would be treated well in the Mo family. She had her own courtyard and more than 10 servants. Once they returned to the Mo family, Mo Ying brought Lu Ming to her courtyard so that Lu Ming could recover better. In a guest room in Mo Ying's courtyard, Lu Ming sat cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, a pile of spiritual herbs and spiritual medicine appeared beside him. Here, Lu Ming could finally relax and recover to his heart's content. Immediately, he activated the 10,000 spirit battle body and turned the spiritual herbs and spiritual medicine into 10,000 spirit chi. The 10,000 spirit chi seeped into his body and quickly healed Lu Ming's injured body. Lu Ming's body was recovering rapidly. A few hours later, Lu Ming finished healing his body and activated the True Dragon of Combat skill to recover his genuine chi. When he finished cultivating, it was already evening. Knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Lu Ming opened the door and saw Mo Ying. Apparently, Mo Ying had just finished washing up. Her hair was still wet and stuck to her face. She had changed into a black gauze dress, and her graceful figure was faintly discernible under the gauze dress. She was extremely seductive. Mo Ying was indeed very beautiful. Among the women that Lu Ming had seen, Mo Ying was only slightly inferior to Xian Yanqing, Xian Yanjuan, Autumn Moon, and Mulin's. She was a rare beauty. Brother Lu, these are the healing elixirs that I just bought. Take them. Mo Ying took out a few jade bottles and handed them to Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony either. He received the jade bottle and said with a smile, "Many thanks, Miss Mo. There's no need to be so polite. I won't disturb Brother Lu's recuperation." Mo Ying did not say much. She said a few words of courtesy and turned to leave. After Mo Ying left, Lu Ming raised his head and looked towards the north. That direction was the depths of the Mo family. For some reason, as soon as Lu Ming arrived at the Mo family, he felt that there was something in the depths of the Mo family that was attracting him. To be precise, it was attracting the 9 dragons' bloodline, making it feel as if it was cheering. What exactly does the Mo family have? It actually caused the 9 dragons' bloodline to jump for joy. Looks like I'll have to stay in the Mo family for a while longer. Lu Ming looked in that direction, deep in thought. After pondering for a while, Lu Ming returned to his room to recuperate. Just like that, 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 5 days of recuperation, Lu Ming's injuries had completely healed and his cultivation had returned to its peak state. To be able to fully recover from such a serious injury in just 5 days was extremely shocking. This was completely dependent on the divine level cultivation method, True Dragon tactics, and his rank 5 physical body. In these 5 days, Mo Ying often came to visit him, but she did not mention a word about treating him. I wonder what the local customs of the Inua Empire are like. It's rare for me to come here. I'll take a look. Lu Ming smiled, then walked out of Mo Ying's courtyard and casually strolled around Sutian City. Sutian City was really big. In the Burning Sun Empire, among all the cities that Lu Ming had seen, only the Burning Sun Empire was bigger than Sutian City. On the streets, there was an endless stream of powerful martial artists. Around the streets, there was a forest of shops. There were all kinds of strange things, some of which were specialties of the Inua Empire. Lu Ming had only seen them in books before. Now that he saw the real thing, he could not help but buy some. "Little bastard, stop right there." Lu Ming had just strolled for a while when a cold voice came from behind. Lu Ming turned around and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Wasn't that M.O. Bing? M.O. Bing's face was gloomy as he strode towards Lu Ming with 4 big men. "Little bastard, who are you calling?" Lu Ming said lightly. "Of course, little bastard is calling you." M.O. Bing said coldly. "Oh, so it's little bastard calling me. Hello, little bastard," Lu Ming said with a smile. "You—" Only then did M.O. Bing react. His face was livid. The 4 big men behind him almost could not hold back their laughter, but looking at their slightly trembling body, it was obvious that they had a hard time holding back their laughter. "You have a sharp tongue. You want to die?" M.O. Bing's face was incomparably ugly. He stared coldly at Lu Ming and said, "I think your injuries have almost healed. In that case, quickly get out of the M.O. family. M.O. Ying's courtyard is not a place where you can stay. The longer you stay, the more miserable your death will be." "Oh, is that so? I'd like to try." Lu Ming smiled, not caring at all. "Brat, have you taken a fancy to that girl M.O. Ing? Do you want to hit on her? Let me tell you, that girl M.O. Ing is someone that the young prince likes. If anyone wants to hit on her, he will be going against the young prince. Only death awaits him." M.O. Bing threatened. "Little prince, who does he think he is?" Lu Ming said lightly. M.O. Bing's face suddenly changed, and he shouted, "Boy, you're courting death. Men, break his legs and throw him out of Su Tiancheng." "Yes," behind M.O. Bing, the 4 big men responded in unison. They took large strides forward, emitting powerful auras as they closed in on Lu Ming. 9th layer, Martial Master Realm. The 4 big men were all 9th layer Martial Masters. Whoosh, whoosh. The 4 big men attacked together, aiming at Lu Ming's hands and feet. They were going to cripple his limbs in one blow. Bang, 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 bang. In the next moment, 4 crisp sounds could be heard. 4 tall figures were sent flying far away and fell to the ground. Each of them hugged an arm and cried out in agony. It was the 4 big men. At this moment, one of their arms was twisted into a fried dough twist, broken into 7 or 8 pieces. M.O. Bing was stunned. He kept blinking his eyes, thinking that he was dreaming. The 4 martial artists at the 9th level Martial Master Realm had their arms broken in an instant and were sent flying. He did not even see how Lu Ming did it. How was this possible? This person that they had randomly bumped into on the side of the road, who was about to die, was so strong. Was he a martial ancestor, realm genius? "You said you were going to break my legs?" Lu Ming smiled and walked toward M.O. Bing. M.O. Bing's expression changed greatly. He could not help but retreat and shouted, What are you trying to do? I'm an elite disciple of the M.O. clan. These servants can't compare to me. If you dare to touch me, I won't let you leave Su Tiancheng." However, Lu Ming was not moved at all. He walked toward M.O. Bing step by step. Cold sweat started to appear on M.O. Bing's face. His eyes were filled with fear. In the end, he screamed and turned to run. Lu Ming smiled coldly. He flicked his finger and shot out a few streams of energy, hitting M.O. Bing's legs. Chapter 3:23. Both of M.O. Bing's legs were broken by Lu Ming, and blood flowed out. M.O. Bing wailed again and again, and even tears flowed out. Around them, a large number of onlookers were shocked. M.O. Bing was a genius disciple of the M.O. family and was very famous in Su Tian City. Who was this person who dared to break his legs? Many people looked at Lu Ming and secretly guessed, "What are you shouting for? Now get out of here." Lu Ming shouted angrily. The 4 burly men struggled to get up as if they had been pardoned. They used the other hand to support M.O. Bing and ran away. Lu Ming did not care and continued to stroll on the street. After strolling for a while, he went back. As soon as he returned to Mo Ying's courtyard, he ran into Mo Ying. "Brother Lu, have you recovered from your injury?" Mo Ying asked. Lu Ming nodded and said with a smile, "It's almost healed." That, Mo Ying stammered, wanting to say something but hesitated. Lu Ming smiled and said, "Let's go and see how the true qi in your body is." Okay. Mo Ying was overjoyed. "Then, to my bedroom or to your bedroom?" Lu Ming asked. Mo Ying was stunned, and then her face turned red. After pondering for a while, she whispered, "Let's go to my bedroom." Lu Ming nodded and walked to her bedroom with Mo Ying. Mo Ying's bedroom was decorated very elegantly with a faint fragrance. The two sat cross-legged on the bed. "Miss Mo, there may be some presumptuous actions later. Please forgive me," Lu Ming said. Presumptuous actions? Mo Ying's face turned even redder, and her big eyes were misty. Lu Ming was speechless. This girl was too shy. "I haven't started anything yet." Mo Ying took a deep breath, as if she was going to throw caution to the wind, and said firmly, "Go ahead, I'm fine with anything." Anything? Lu Ming's heart could not help but flutter. A man and a woman alone in a room, and a young and beautiful girl said, "Go ahead, I'm fine with anything." This was too much for one's imagination to run wild. "I didn't mean that." When Mo Ying thought about it, even her ears turned red. The two of them stared at each other for a long time before they slowly calmed down. Then Lu Ming and Mo Ying's palms touched each other. Lu Ming channeled a stream of true qi into Mo Ying's body. Mo Ying's genuine qi was strong and condensed, and it was unusually cold. However, within the cold true energy, there were traces of blazing true energy that intertwined with the cold true energy. In this way, Mo Ying's genuine qi would not be pure, which would greatly interfere with her cultivation. Sometimes she would even experience alternating between hot and cold, which would be extremely painful. Only by removing the blazing genuine qi could Mo Ying's shackles be lifted. By then, Mo Ying's cultivation speed would be even faster. As expected, the true qi nurtured by the cloud dragon can actually take the form of a dragon. Lu Ming discovered that Mo Ying's cold and blazing true qi were both in the shape of dragons, intertwining with each other like tiny dragons. It was very similar to the true qi cultivated by the true dragon battle art. However, the dragon-shaped true qi cultivated by the true dragon battle art was more lifelike and lifelike. After observing for a while, Lu Ming withdrew his genuine qi. "Brother Lu, how is it? Can you get rid of the yang attribute genuine qi?" Mo Ying asked nervously. This was related to her future path of martial arts. Of course, she was nervous. Lu Ming nodded and said, "It shouldn't be a big problem. The two types of genuine qi are too deeply intertwined. It can't be completely removed in a day or two. I estimate that it will take about 10 days. It's okay. It's worth it no matter how much time it takes." Mo Ying said excitedly. She had endured it for more than 10 years. Why would she care about 10 days? "Well, that's good. Take off your clothes," Lu Ming said. "Okay." What? Take off my clothes? Mo Ying nodded subconsciously. When she came to her senses, she let out a deafening scream. "Well, I need to directly suppress your blood meridians from your spine. That's the only way to get rid of the yang attribute genuine qi," Lu Ming explained helplessly. Mo Ying's face turned red. After pondering for a while, she gritted her teeth and turned her back to Lu Ming. Then she slowly took off her clothes. Suddenly, a jade-like body appeared in front of Lu Ming. Although it was only her back, the amazing curves were still visible. Lu Ming's heart raced, and he almost lost control. Lu Ming desperately looked away. He took a deep breath to calm himself down. Then he stretched out his palm and placed it on Mo Ying's back. When he touched it, it was delicate and smooth. It was as if he was touching a piece of nephrite. Mo Ying's delicate body trembled. She moaned, and her body became hot. Even her back turned red. Buzz. At this moment, Mo Ying's back trembled slightly. A strong blood-red light was emitted. Roar. A cloud dragon that was as white as jade emerged and roared at Lu Ming. How dare you? Lu Ming narrowed his eyes, and the 9 dragons' bloodline appeared. It was only in the shape of a python. However, when the cloud dragon saw the 9 dragons' bloodline, it seemed to be terrified. It wailed and sank into Mo Ying's back. It did not dare to move. Devour. Lu Ming's palm exuded a powerful devouring force. He pressed it against Mo Ying's back, and the devouring force gushed out. The yang-type true qi in Mo Ying's genuine qi was instantly extracted and refined by Lu Ming. Although it was not very fast, it was very stable. Mo Ying's delicate body trembled slightly. Fine beads of sweat appeared on her smooth back. 2 hours later, Lu Ming stopped. Phew! Mo Ying let out a long breath. Then, she carefully observed her genuine qi. She was so excited that her body trembled. It's really been extracted. It's really been extracted. Mo Ying turned around excitedly and looked at Lu Ming with excitement and gratitude. However, Lu Ming's eyes widened, and he stared straight at her chest. Ah! Mo Ying screamed again. Only then did she realize that she had not put on her clothes yet. She hurriedly put on her clothes. Her pretty face was as red as an apple. Lu Ming coughed awkwardly. If he had not told Mo Ying's servants not to barge in, Mo Ying's servants would have barged in by now. This time, only a part of it has been extracted. It will take another 8 or 9 days. Lu Ming changed the topic. Thank you, Lu Ming. Mo Ying had forgotten her embarrassment. She was extremely excited. The problem that had troubled her for many years was finally going to be solved. Let's continue tomorrow. Lu Ming smiled. Okay. Mo Ying nodded cheerfully. In the following days, Lu Ming spent 2 hours every day to help Mo Ying extract the yang qi. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. The yang qi in Mo Ying's body was almost completely extracted. Mo Ying's genuine qi suddenly became several times faster and smoother. She even broke through a realm and reached the 2nd realm of martial arts grandmaster. On the 8th day, just as Lu Ming was extracting the remaining yang qi from Mo Ying, there was a sudden noise and screams outside. Young master, missing is really cultivating. Chapter 3:24. Get lost. How dare a few lowly ants block the young prince's way? Are you tired of living? An old man with a big belly scolded. With a slap, Mo Ying's servants were sent flying far away and fell to the ground. One side of their faces was swollen and blood was flowing from their mouths. Behind the old man with a big belly, a young man in luxurious clothes with a sinister face walked in. Spare my life, young prince. I'm not lying. Miss Mo Ying is cultivating in seclusion. She told us not to disturb her, no matter what. A servant girl in her 20s knelt on the ground and said, trembling, not to disturb her? Who does Mo Ying think she is? It's her blessing that the young prince came to see her personally. What's more important than the young prince? Hurry up and report it. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you. The old man with a big belly shouted coldly and looked at the servant girl with a ferocious expression. Young prince, Miss Mo is really... Before the servant girl could continue, the old man with a big belly lost his patience and shouted, You're courting death. Bam! The old man with a big belly slapped the other side of the servant girl's face. The servant girl screamed and flew far away. When she fell to the ground, she was already unconscious. When the other servants saw this, they were trembling in fear. Hurry up and ask your miss to come out. Otherwise, she'll be the next example. The old man, with a big belly, pointed at the servant girl and said coldly, "Creak." At this moment, Mo Ying's door opened. Lu Ming and Mo Ying walked out of the room. When the young prince saw Lu Ming and Mo Ying walking out of Mo Ying's room together, he was stunned. Then, his handsome face was completely distorted. He pointed at Lu Ming and screamed, "Little bastard! Little bastard! How dare you enter Mo Ying's room? What are the two of you doing in there? Damn it, damn it! And you, little bitch, I'm here to see you. Not only did you stand me up, you even shut yourself in for 7 days and refused to see me. I was wondering why. So it turns out that you're together with this little bastard. I'm going to kill you all. Hey, who are you? Why are you barking like a mad dog? Did you take the wrong medicine? Also, the two of us aren't married yet. We're just hiding in our rooms and doing what we need to do. What does that have to do with you?" Lu Ming said indifferently as he glanced sideways at the young prince. The little prince almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Ming actually dared to talk to him like that. Did he eat a flood dragon's gallbladder? Also, the little prince really wanted to yell that it was none of his fucking business. Of course, he forced himself to hold back. "Brat, do you know who I am?" The little prince took a deep breath and said slowly. He reckoned that Lu Ming still didn't know who he was. He wanted to announce his name to scare Lu Ming. At that time, he would kill Lu Ming and let him know what regret was. "Who are you? What does that have to do with me?" Lu Ming said indifferently. "You." The little prince was stunned. He took a deep breath to calm himself down and said, "Listen carefully. I'm the only son of the Jinan prince, the little prince of the Jinan prince's residence." Then, the little prince looked at Lu Ming proudly, hoping to see fear, panic, and fear on Lu Ming's face. Unfortunately, he was disappointed. Lu Ming didn't react at all, as if he had heard the name of a cat or a dog. Lu Ming said indifferently, "So you're the son of the Jinan prince. It turns out that the sons of the Jinan prince are all idiots." What did you say? "You're courting death. You're courting death." The little prince was trembling with anger. He pointed at Lu Ming and kept shouting, Bye." At this time, Mo Ying rushed to the front of the unconscious servant girl and checked her injuries. Then she looked at the little prince angrily and said, "Little prince, I was just following my orders. Aren't you too heavy-handed?" "Heavy-handed? Mo Ying, she's just a lowly servant girl. She doesn't know her place. How dare she make excuses in front of me? I'm disciplining her for you." The little prince gritted his teeth to calm himself down and said coldly, "You." Mo Ying's face was livid with anger. "What place? You keep calling others lowly. In my opinion, you're just a good-for-nothing who relies on your father's power." Lu Ming said indifferently, "How dare you? You lowly ant. How dare you call me a good-for-nothing? You're offending your superiors and committing a heinous crime. No one can save you today. I swear I'm not a man if I don't kill you." The little prince screamed hysterically. Lu Ming dared to call him a good-for-nothing? A lowly ant dared to call him a good-for-nothing. Rebellion, rebellion. Isn't it? You think you're superior to others. What do you rely on? Power or strength? Lu Ming sneered. "I have power and strength. I'm born noble. How can you lowly ants compare to me?" The little prince yelled, "Is that so? If that's the case, you're just a piece of lowly shit in front of me." Lu Ming said, What did you say? Damn it. Kill him. I'm going to grind his bones to dust, skin him, and pull out his tendons. The little prince screamed crazily, "Die, you little bastard!" The pot-bellied old man had been holding back for a long time. At this moment, he roared and slapped Lu Ming's face. Although he was fat, he was as fast as lightning. His cultivation had reached the third martial ancestor realm. In an instant, he was close to Lu Ming and was about to slap Lu Ming's face. "Brother Lu, be careful! Dodge!" Mo-ing exclaimed. However, Lu Ming stood there motionlessly. Just as the pot-bellied old man's slap was about to land on Lu Ming's face, Lu Ming kicked out. It was impossible to describe how fast this kick was. When the kick was sent out, it arrived first, even though it was launched later. It landed heavily on the round belly of the pot-bellied old man. His stomach had sunk in like a rubber ball, and his eyeballs were popping out like a dead fish. With a scream, the pot-bellied old man flew backward like a bloated rubber ball. Whoosh! Lu Ming moved and caught up with the pot-bellied old man in an instant, giving him a slap. Slap! A crisp slap was heard. The pot-bellied old man was sent spinning in the air by Lu Ming's slap and landed heavily on the ground. Boom! A human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. The pot-bellied old man was lying in the pit and twitching nonstop. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. The whole place was silent. Everyone stared blankly at Lu Ming, including Mo-ing. The pot-bellied old man of the third martial ancestor realm was beaten half to death by Lu Ming as if he was an ant. Lu Ming was such a terrifying expert. Previously, although Mo-ing knew that Lu Ming was very powerful, she had originally guessed that Lu Ming should only be slightly stronger than her. However, at this moment, she knew that she was wrong. Ridiculously wrong. Lu Ming's strength was far beyond her imagination. Well done! Mo-ying's subordinates roared in their hearts. They were extremely satisfied. Previously, the pot-bellied old man was so arrogant and treated them like ants. Now, he was like a dead dog. "Little bastard, how dare you hit my man? How dare you?" Chapter 3:25. Who said I only hit your men? Lu Ming smiled and stepped toward the young prince. The young prince's expression changed greatly. He shouted in disbelief, What are you doing? How dare you hit me? You're offending your superior. You're treacherous." Slap! Lu Ming slapped him in the face. The young prince didn't even have time to react before he was slapped in the face by Lu Ming. He didn't stop until he spun 3 times on the ground. He stared at Lu Ming in a daze. He was completely dumbfounded. Lu Ming really dared to hit him? In the Inuit Empire, the royal family had supreme authority. His father, Zhennan Wang, was the commander of all the troops in the south of the Inuit Empire. It could be said that he was second only to one person. As the only son of Zhennan Wang, his status was so noble that no one dared to disobey him, let alone hit him. He even doubted that he was dreaming. However, the piercing pain on his face told him that this was real and not a dream. Therefore, he screamed hysterically, how dare you hit me? How dare you hit me? You're dead. Your whole family is dead. No one can save you." Slap! Lu Ming slapped him again on the other side of his face. The young prince saw stars and was completely dumbfounded. He forced himself to swallow back a string of vicious words. "You said that you had power and strength and were superior to others. You regarded others as lowly ants and could bully them at will. But now I'm stronger than you, so you're also an ant in front of me. Am I wrong to say that you're a piece of lowly shit?" Lu Ming stared at the young prince and said coldly, I. The young prince's face was swollen like a pig's head. He looked at Lu Ming in horror. No matter how stupid he was, he could see that Lu Ming was not afraid of him at all. He didn't know what to say for a moment. "What? You don't dare to speak? Where's your courage just now? Lu Ming's eyes were like two sharp swords as he stared at the young prince. The young prince felt a chill run down his spine. He retreated and shouted, "What are you doing? My royal father's army is not far from Su Tian City. If you dare to touch me, not only will you die, the Mo family will also be buried with you." "Really? Then I'll kill you first. Let's see what your father can do to me." Lu Ming sneered, completely unmoved. He took a step forward, and a cold killing intent erupted, making the scene seem like it was winter. "No, no." Two shouts rang out at the same time. One of them came from the young prince. He screamed in horror and was almost scared out of his wits. The other one came from Mo Ing. Lu Ming frowned slightly and stopped in his tracks. "Brother Lu, he is, after all, the son of the South Protecting Prince. If he dies in the Mo clan, the South Protecting Prince will be enraged and raze the Mo clan to the ground. Please spare his life, Brother Lu," Mo Ing pleaded. Lu Ming nodded and looked at the young prince. He scolded, "Seeing that Miss Mo Ing pleaded for you, I'll spare your life. Get lost." The young prince felt as if he had been pardoned. He ignored the pot-bellied old man and ran away, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming did not continue to attack. It was not that he wanted to let the tiger go back to the mountain. As Mo Ing said, he was not afraid of killing the young prince, but it would definitely implicate Mo Ing and the Mo family. "Brother Lu, I've implicated you." Mo Ing walked to Lu Ming's side and said apologetically, "Haha, what does this have to do with you? It's normal to meet brainless idiots everywhere." Lu Ming smiled. Then they helped Bai treat her injuries. Not long after, an angry roar came from a luxurious mansion in Su Tian City. "Damned little bitch, damned bastard, die, die, damn it, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a man." In a hall, the young prince's face was ferocious. He roared again and again, smashing the tables and chairs in the hall. On both sides of the hall, there were 5 or 6 figures standing. They did not even dare to breathe. After a while, the young Prince Yin Jiufeng gradually calmed down. "Young prince, it's all because of that little bastard called Lu Ming. I don't know what kind of drug he used on Mo Ing. When Mo Ing saw him, she seemed to be fascinated. It's really hateful." A gloomy voice sounded. It was Mo Bing. At this time, his legs were still wrapped in thick plaster. Obviously, the legs that were broken by Lu Ming had not recovered. "Humph, Mo Ing, that little bitch. I thought she was a chaste woman, but she turned out to be a slut. Seeing that she was about to die, I wanted to have sex with her first. It's a pity that such a beauty died like that. Now that she's with that little bastard, I can't wait to kill her immediately." The young Prince Yin Jiufeng said with a gloomy face, "Young prince, Mo Ing, that bitch, won't live for long anyway. But that Lu Ming, I didn't expect his cultivation to be so high. How should we deal with him?" Mo Bing asked. "It doesn't matter. I'll send a message to my father and ask him to send a master over. At that time, I'll make him beg for death." Yin Jiufeng gritted his teeth and said gloomily, "In the next few days, Lu Ming continued to deprive Mo Ing of her yang qi. 3 days later, the yang qi in Mo Ying's body had been completely expelled. Mo Ing was relieved. Her qi became very active. Every day, her face glowed and became more beautiful. The Mo family martial arts field was the place where the Mo family disciples cultivated. As soon as Mo Ying's yang qi was expelled, she took Lu Ming to the Mo family martial arts field. In the middle of the Mo family martial arts field, there was a huge stone pillar. The stone pillar was crystal clear, like jade. At first glance, one could tell that it was not ordinary. "Brother Lu, This stone pillar can test my compatibility with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. The higher the compatibility, the more I can get the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. In the past, when my Yangqi was not expelled, I was the one with the highest compatibility with the ancestral inheritance among the younger generation of the Mo family. Now that the Yangqi is expelled, I want to see how compatible I am with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo Ing obviously trusted Lu Ming and had no reservations about Lu Ming. The Mo family's ancestral inheritance, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but look into the depths of the Mo family. That place was the place where the 9 dragons' bloodline cheered. He didn't know if it had anything to do with the Mo family's ancestral inheritance. Mo Ing came to the stone pillar and immediately attracted the attention of some of the Mo family members nearby. Is Mo Ing going to test her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance again? She's already the highest among the younger generation. The ancestral inheritance belongs to her. What's the point of testing? Yes, her compatibility with the ancestral inheritance is as high as 5 stars. Moreover, the compatibility is innate. It won't increase over time. I really don't understand why she's here to test again. Around them, some of the Mo family members were discussing. Mo Ing ignored them. She placed her palm on the stone pillar, and there was a flash of blood on her spine. Buzz. Chapter 326. Everyone from the Mo family was stunned. Their faces were filled with disbelief. After a while, there was a heated discussion. 6 stars. Mo Ying's compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has reached 6 stars. How is that possible? She used to have 5 stars. Unbelievable. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy can be improved. I've never heard of such a thing. Even the ancient books have never recorded such a thing. Unbelievable. I'm so envious. Some of the young people from the Mo family were already incoherent. Creak. A white-haired old man walked out from a loft beside the martial arts arena. The old man was overjoyed when he saw Mo Ing condensing 6 stars on the stone pillar. He muttered, 6 stars, that's great. I've tried so many times, and this is the most compatible one. This time, it will definitely succeed. Great things can be expected. When the time comes, the Mo family's status will definitely rise by a lot. In the martial arts practice field, Lu Ming saw the stone pillars shining, and a look of surprise flashed across his eyes. When the stone pillar shone, he felt the 9 dragons' bloodline in his body stirring. It was very strange. At that moment, Mo Ing retracted her palm and looked delighted. True Qi has become pure. The compatibility with the ancestors' legacy has increased. Mo Ing said happily. Lu Ming looked at the stone pillar and suddenly lifted his leg and walked toward it. What is Brother Lu doing? Mo Ing was stunned. Then she saw Lu Ming reaching out his palm and placing it on the stone pillar. Is Brother Lu trying to test it? But this is the testing stone pillar of the Mo family. What's the use of him testing it? Mo Ing thought to herself. The other members of the Mo family were even more shocked. Who is this kid? What is he trying to do? This is the stone pillar used by the Mo family to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy. What is he doing? Is this kid trying to test the compatibility of the ancestors' legacy too? What a joke. He's an outsider. Brat, stop right now. The members of the Mo family at the side started to speak. Some of them even sneered. But in the next moment, Buzz, the testing stone pillar, shook violently and emitted a bright light. The light was more dazzling than the one caused by Mo Ing just now. Then, the light condensed into stars in the air. 1, 2, 8 stars. In the end, a total of 8 stars were formed. This, the eyes of all the MO family members almost popped out of their sockets. Their bulging eyes were filled with disbelief. Each and every one of them trembled as they pointed at Lu Ming, unable to say a single word for a long time. Mo Ying's reaction was similar. Her small cherry lips opened, so wide that one could swallow a duck egg. Her beautiful eyes were filled with astonishment. 8 stars? 8 stars. This brat actually has 8 stars of compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. How is this possible? How is this possible? I'm dreaming. I must be dreaming. Pa! A crisp sound of a slap was heard. Why did you hit me? I was checking to see if you were dreaming. Turns out you weren't. Nest. An outsider actually has an 8-star compatibility with the ancestors' inheritance. This is truly blinding. The surrounding Mo family members had already lost their minds. This, heavens will bless our Mo family. Ha ha ha. In the pavilion, the white-haired old man was so excited that his body was trembling. His eyes were filled with ecstasy. I must inform the family head about this immediately, the white-haired old man whispered, and then turned to leave. As expected, in the martial arts field, Lu Ming retracted his palm and fell into deep thought. Previously, he had discovered that this so-called test of compatibility with the Mo family's ancestors' inheritance was actually related to the dragon's bloodline. Lu Ming guessed that the Mo family's ancestor also had the bloodline of the cloud dragon or flood dragon. That was why Mo Ying had such a high compatibility. Lu Ming had the 9 dragon bloodline and could be said to be the ancestor of all dragons. Naturally, his compatibility was high. He had reached 8 stars. Unfortunately, Brother Lu is an outsider. Mo Ying sighed in her heart. Mo Ying, let's go. Lu Ming smiled. Mo Ying nodded and returned to the courtyard with Lu Ming. At this time, in a secret room of the Mo family, there was an urgent discussion. 2 days later, a middle-aged man came to Mo Ying's courtyard. Greetings, family head. Mo Ying and the rest quickly bowed. This middle-aged man turned out to be the family head of the Mo family. Little Ling, tomorrow you will inherit the ancestors' inheritance. The family head of the Mo family did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Tomorrow? So soon? Mo Ying was stunned. Obviously, it was a little unexpected. A long delay may cause trouble. The sooner you inherit the ancestors' inheritance, the sooner you can carry it forward. Then I can rest assured. The family head of the Mo family smiled and said very kindly, Thank you, family head. Mo Ying bowed emotionally. She was originally only a side branch disciple of the Mo family. It was already extremely rare for her to be able to reach this step. Furthermore, she was going to inherit the inheritance of the ancestor tomorrow. In the Mo family, this was an unparalleled honor. At this moment, she was deeply grateful to the Mo family's patriarch. There's no need to be so courteous. The family head of the Mo family laughed heartily, then looked at Lu Ming and said with a smile, I guess this must be young hero Lu Ming. That's me. Greetings, family head of the Mo family. Lu Ming held his fists together and said, young hero Lu, there's no need to be so courteous. 2 days ago, you resonated with the testing pillar of the 8 stars. This news has spread to the entire Mo family. A miracle indeed. The family head of the Mo family exclaimed, then changed his tone and said, Here, I have something that I need your help with. You need my help? May I know what it is? Lu Ming was curious. I would like to invite young hero Lu to go with Mo Ying to the place of the ancestors' inheritance and help her obtain the inheritance. The family head of the Mo family said, Me? This time, not only Lu Ming, but even Mo Ing was surprised. That's right. To be honest, inheriting the ancestors' inheritance is not a smooth journey. There might be some twists and turns along the way. Young Hero Lu's compatibility with the Mo family's ancestors' inheritance is as high as 8 stars. With you following and helping Mo Ing, there will be no mistakes. I hope young Hero Lu can agree. The family head of the Mo family held his fists together and said, "You're being too courteous. Since I can help Mo Ing, I will not refuse." Lu Ming said, "That's good too." Lu Ming also wanted to see what it was that caused the 9 dragons bloodline to cheer. Seeing that Lu Ming agreed, the family head of the Mo family was overjoyed. After chatting with the two, for a while, he stood up and left. "Brother Lu, I'll have to trouble you again." Mo Ing bowed slightly. Her eyes were clear like water. A day's time passed very quickly. On the second day, the family head of the Mo family sent someone to pick up Mo Ing and Lu Ming. Chapter 327. It is indeed deep within the Mo family. Lu Ming was surprised. The Mo clan's residence was filled with layers upon layers of buildings. It was unknown how many palaces there were. The two of them walked around for half an hour before they arrived at a dilapidated stone house. In front of the stone house, the Mo family head and a few white-haired elders had arrived. "Ha! Mo Ing, young Hero Lu, you are here. Under this stone house is the inheritance of our ancestors. When the door is opened, you can go in." The Mo family head smiled. Lu Ming and Mo Ing nodded. "Let's begin." The Mo family head nodded to the elders. The figures of several old men moved and scattered around the stone house. Their hands shot out rays of light that disappeared into the stone house. The stone house began to tremble slightly and emitted rays of light. The stone house was covered with inscriptions. The inscriptions shone brightly. As the elders shouted, a stone door in front of the stone house opened abruptly. The moment the stone house opened, Lu Ming seemed to see a sea of blood surging towards him. At this moment, the 9 dragons' bloodline seemed to be so excited that it was about to roar into the sky. This place is not simple. Lu Ming frowned slightly. Mo Ing did not seem to feel anything unusual. She looked at the stone house with anticipation. "All right, Mo Ing, young Hero Lu, the stone door is open. You can go in." The Mo family head said, "Thank you, family head and elders." Mo Ing thanked the Mo family head and elders sincerely. Then she got up and walked towards the stone house. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He followed Mo Ing and walked in. When the two of them walked in, the stone door of the stone house closed automatically. Ha! This is a success. This time, the Mo family will make a great contribution. When the stone door closed, the Mo family had laughed excitedly. However, there was no kindness on his face. Instead, it looked a little ferocious. In the stone house, after the stone door closed, the stone house was not dark. The walls of the stone house were inlaid with luminous stones. There was a large hole in the floor of the stone house. A stone staircase led down from the hole. Previously, the patriarch of the Mo clan had mentioned that the succession of the Mo clan's ancestor was located deep underground. The two of them did not hesitate and walked down the stairs. The staircase was very long, and it led downwards at an angle. After walking for about a kilometer, he saw a stone door. There were inscriptions flowing on the stone door, and it was overflowing with light. In the middle of the stone door, there was a pit. Mo Ing took out a jade token and shone it at the pit. Kacha! Immediately, the stone door creaked and opened automatically. Behind the stone door, there was another stone staircase that led downwards. The slope of the stone staircase was getting steeper and steeper until it was almost vertical. After walking for a while, she saw another stone door. Mo-ing drew a gourd and opened it with a jade token. This time, behind the stone door was a passageway. On both sides of the passageway were stone rooms. Lu Ming frowned slightly because he could feel a chilling aura from these stone chambers. Why is this place so eerie? Obviously, Mo-ing felt it too, and she frowned slightly. Perhaps it's because no one has been here for too many years. Lu Ming said. Mo-ing nodded and did not say much. The two of them continued to move forward. After walking for a while, the stone chambers disappeared, and the passageway continued to move forward. After walking for another kilometer, they reached the end of the passageway, and a huge underground cave appeared in front of them. In the cave, the chilling aura was even more intense. In the middle of the cave, there was a huge pool. When they saw the pool, the two of them were shocked. This pool was not filled with water at all, but with bright red blood. Yes, the entire pool was filled with blood, and the smell of blood filled the entire underground cave. What is this? Is this the inheritance of our ancestor? Mo-ing said in shock and disbelief. Swoosh! At this moment, the blood in the pool surged violently. Then, the blood rushed into the air and condensed into two blood-red dragons that pounced on Lu Ming and Mo-ing. Roar! The two blood-red dragons roared, and the smell of blood filled their nostrils. The dragons' claws were as sharp as knives, and they clawed at the two of them. Not good. Lu Ming's face changed. The demon-banishing spear appeared and stabbed out. Swoosh! Swoosh! Two spear radiance burst out and shattered the two blood-red dragons. Roar! Roar! However, the pool surged again, and the blood in the pool condensed into blood-red dragons. This time, there were 8 of them. 8 blood-red dragons pounced on the 2 of them. How could this be? At this moment, Mo-ing finally reacted. She waved her hands to resist the blood-red dragons. Lu Ming's long spear shook and thrust out, destroying the blood-red dragons one by one. However, the blood-red dragons were not destroyed. They gathered together in the air and reformed into a blood-red dragon. At the same time, blood-red dragons continued to form in the pool and pounced on Lu Ming and Mo-ing. There was no end to them. Soon, Mo-ing was scratched by a blood-red dragon's claw, and a deep wound appeared. Boom! Lu Ming's aura exploded violently. He swept out his long spear, and dozens of blood-red dragons exploded in the air. However, it was useless. After a while, they would reform. Since I can't kill them, I'll destroy this pool. Lu Ming strode forward, intending to blast the pool that was filled with blood. Clang! Clang! At this moment, the sound of metal clashing could be heard from the pool. It sounded like iron chains colliding with each other. Clang! 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 The clashing sounds became louder. The blood in the pool surged even more violently, creating a loud sound like a stormy sea. Roar! Roar! The crimson dragons uttered a series of roars and stopped attacking Lu Ming and Mo-ing. They flew back into the blood pond. Boom! Suddenly, there was a violent roar from the pool. The entire underground cave shook violently. It was as if there was an ancient giant beast in the pool that was about to break free. I'm not resigned to this. Suddenly, there was a loud roar from the pool. Lu Ming and Mo-ing's faces changed drastically. There was someone in the pool. I'm not resigned to this. The Inua imperial family is despicable and shameless. The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They framed me. I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. A loud roar came from the pool. It was filled with pain and unwillingness, as well as monstrous hatred. Clang! Clang! The clashing sounds of the iron chains became louder. The next moment, the pool suddenly surged violently and formed a human figure. The human figure was dozens of meters tall and huge. It looked like a burly old man. He roared to the sky, trying to break free from the shackles. However, he was surrounded by endless blood. Roar. Chapter 3:28. I can't accept this. The elder roared and struggled with all his might. Blood filled the air, and the underground cave kept shaking. Lu Ming and Mo Ying looked at the scene in shock. The 9 dragons' bloodlines' abnormal movement came from this pool of blood. Looking at the situation, it should be the blood of a flood dragon, and even the soul of a flood dragon. Lu Ming's mind was racing. But what's up with that elder? Lu Ming could not figure it out, but one thing was for sure. This was not the ancestral inheritance that the Mo family had mentioned. Looking at Mo Ying's expression, it was obvious that she did not know either. He and Mo Ying had been deceived. The huge elder struggled more, and more violently, as if he could break free at any time. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, 2 old men, with almost all their hair and faces full of wrinkles, suddenly appeared on both sides of the cave. As soon as the 2 old men appeared, rays of dazzling light flew out from their hands. The light flew into the surrounding walls of the cave, and inscriptions appeared on the walls. Countless inscriptions intertwined and formed an inscription formation. They condensed into strips of light and flew into the pool of blood. Suddenly, inscriptions appeared on the surface of the blood in the pool of blood, and the huge flood dragon condensed by the blood. This greatly increased the power of the blood-water flood dragon, and it immediately suppressed the huge old man's figure. Ah, despicable Mo family, I can't accept this. The huge elder let out an indignant roar. Suppress. The 2 old men from the Mo family shouted softly, and their bodies shone. They controlled the inscription formation to suppress the huge elder. Rumble. Although the huge elder struggled with all his might, it was useless, and his movements were getting smaller and smaller. Start condensing. One of the old men from the Mo family shouted softly, and the other nodded. The 2 of them moved their palms, and dozens of flood dragons flew out of the pool of blood. They roared and pounced on Lu Ming and Mo Ying. What was different from before was that each of these blood-water dragons had inscriptions flowing on their bodies. Clearly, they were more powerful. Elders, what are you doing? I'm a disciple of the Mo family. Mo Ying was shocked. However, the flood dragons did not stop, and Mo Ying could only fight back. Bang! However, with just one move, Mo Ying was sent flying. Then, a blood-water dragon coiled around Mo Ying, trying to drag her into the blood-water pool. Elders, what are you doing? I'm Mo Ying, a disciple of the Mo clan. I'm here to receive the inheritance of my ancestor. Let me go. Mo Ying screamed in horror. Kill. Lu Ming shouted as he swept out with his long spear, causing the blood flood dragons to explode. Then, he grabbed the blood flood dragon on Mo Ying's body and squeezed it hard, causing it to explode. On both sides of the cave, the faces of the 2 Mo family elders changed. Their gazes towards Lu Ming were filled with killing intent. Blood refining array, kill. The 2 elders of the Mo family shouted loudly. The light of the inscription formation in the cave became even brighter. All of a sudden, hundreds of bloody flood dragons flew out and pounced on Lu Ming. Of course, these bloody flood dragons were only a few meters long and could not be compared to the huge flood dragon that was entangling the huge old man. Ha ha! Little girl of the Mo family, don't expect to get out of here alive. What inheritance of your ancestor? They just want to use you to refine the Inua demonic leader. At this moment, the old man's laughter came from the blood-water pool. Rumble! That sentence was like a clap of thunder that exploded in Mo Ying's heart. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she screamed, "Use me to refine the Inuit demonic leader? No, this is not true. I don't believe it." "You don't believe it? The truth is right in front of you. Little girl, accept your fate. You have been deceived by a group of hypocrites," the old man in the blood-water pool said. "No, this is impossible. Elders, is this true?" Mo Ying looked at the two elders of the Mo family. "As a disciple of the Mo family, it is your honor to be able to sacrifice for the Mo family. Why don't you surrender now?" The two elders of the Mo family said. Their faces were extremely cold and emotionless. Mo Ying staggered back, as if she had been struck by lightning. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. "The Mo family is despicable and shameless. They want to refine the blood and soul of a dragon into my body through the two of you. They want to refine me into a soulless, obedient puppet that only knows how to kill. No way, I will not surrender," the old man in the blood-water pool roared. "It's useless even if you don't surrender. This time, not only do we have a little girl with the cloud dragon bloodline, but we also have a kid who is more compatible with the dragon. With the two of them, we can definitely refine the Inuit demonic leader. This is God's blessing for the Mo family. Yen Quan, this is your fate. Why don't you surrender now?" One of the elders of the Mo family roared. "Fuck your head," the old man roared. Mo Ying's body trembled, and her eyes were lifeless. It was as if her soul had been sucked away. It was fake. Everything in the past was fake. What genius of the Mo family? What key grooming? What ancestors' inheritance? It was all fake. The purpose of everything was to refine the Inuit demonic leader. The reason was because of the cloud dragon bloodline in her body. No wonder the head of the Mo family invited Lu Ming in. He said that he would help her, but it was all nonsense. It was nothing more than that he had taken a fancy to Lu Ming's bloodline. Everything made sense. Boom, boom. Lu Ming kept waving his long spear and blocking the bloodwater dragons. "Mo Ying, cheer up. We don't need such a family. At most, we'll rebel." Lu Ming shouted. Mo Ying's body shook, and then she recovered a little. She gritted her teeth and said loudly, "I'm the master of my own fate. I won't listen to other people's arrangements." Rebellious and stubborn, become a part of the glory of the Mo family. Kill. The two elders of the Mo family roared and controlled the inscription formation. More blood-water dragons flew out and pounced on the two. A bunch of hypocrites. Kill. Lu Ming shouted. Boom. His aura erupted like a volcano as a huge stone tablet appeared. For silver chakras were shining brightly on it. Lu Ming burst out with all his strength. Boom. The power of wind and fire gathered. With a sweep of his long spear, a large number of blood-water dragons exploded. Level 4 King class bloodline. Who is this guy? An elder of the Mo family roared in shock. As far as he knew, there was no genius with level 4 King class bloodline in the entire Moon Empire. Where did Lu Ming come from? Could he be a peerless genius from a medium-sized empire? No matter who he is, there's no way out today. Let's kill this guy first. The other elder of the Mo family roared. Okay, let's do it. The two elders of the Mo family pinched their hands. Roar. The huge bloodwater dragon that was entangling the elder let go of him and pounced on Lu Ming with a roar. Its aura was so strong that it shook heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that it was much stronger than an ordinary martial artist at the 9th level of the martial arts grandmaster realm. It was unstoppable. Lu Ming's pupils shrank. He was about to retreat, but suddenly he stopped. Buzz. Chapter 329. The Nine Dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. Although the Nine Dragons' bloodline was only a dozen meters long, it looked very small in front of the bloody flood dragon. However, as the bloodline of the Nine Dragons roared, the bloody flood dragon suddenly stopped in the air. It looked at the bloodline of the Nine Dragons with fear in its eyes. The giant serpent's body began to tremble violently. It let out a roar and turned around to flee. However, it was too late. The Nine Dragons' bloodline roared, and a strong devouring power burst out of its mouth. At the same time, the Nine Dragons' bloodline twisted its body like a flash of lightning. It instantly reached the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and shrouded it with a strong devouring power. The bloody flood dragon was terrified. It kept roaring, and its huge body kept twisting. However, the Nine Dragons' bloodline steadily stopped at the top of the bloody flood dragon's head and kept bursting out its devouring power. Roar. The blood flood dragon roared as a flood dragon's soul was extracted from the body of the flood dragon that was condensed from blood. The first thing that appeared was the head of the flood dragon soul. It kept roaring and wanted to shrink back, but it was useless under the devouring power of the Nine Dragons' bloodline. It was being extracted bit by bit. What's going on? What the hell is going on? An elder of the MO family shouted in disbelief. Kill him! Kill him! The two elders of the MO family gnashed their teeth and desperately urged the inscription formation to get rid of the Nine Dragons' bloodline and kill Lu Ming. Unfortunately, the huge bloody flood dragon was like a mouse meeting a cat when it encountered the Nine Dragons' bloodline. It did not dare to resist at all. The flood dragon's soul was constantly being extracted. Soon, more than half of the flood dragon's soul had been extracted. Boy, what are you doing? Why don't you stop? Stop right now. You're destroying the MO family's 1,000-year plan. Do you know that? Stop right now. The two elders of the MO family shouted hysterically. Ha, you two old dogs. You've lived for so long. Have you been living like dogs? Stop, and then use my life to complete the MO family's 1,000-year plan? Have you fucking lost your IQ? And what's the MO family's 1,000-year plan? What does it have to do with me? In my eyes, it's all trash. Lu Ming let out a long howl. The words of the two MO family elders were simply too ridiculous. You are courting death. The two MO family elders' shriveled faces flushed red, as if they were about to bleed from anger. They were the MO clan's grand elders, and were usually high and mighty. When had anyone dared to scold them like this? I'll kill this brat first. An elder of the MO family roared. He temporarily stopped controlling the inscription formation and was about to attack Lu Ming. However, as soon as he stopped controlling the inscription formation, the old man in the pool of blood went berserk, and the underground cave began to shake. Damn it! The elder of the MO family was unwilling, but he could only fly back to continue controlling the inscription array. Roar! At this moment, the Nine Dragons' bloodline let out an earth-shattering roar. Its devouring power suddenly increased, and the blood flood dragon's soul was pulled out. The flood dragon soul roared again and again. Terrified, it struggled with all its might. No! Stop! The two elders of the MO family roared. However, the Nine Dragons' bloodline opened its mouth and sucked the flood dragon soul into its mouth, disappearing without a trace. The Nine Dragons' bloodline revealed a satisfied expression and flew back into Lu Ming's body. Damn it, let go of the flood dragon. Soul, quickly! The two elders of the MO family screamed, crazily like ghosts. Let go. You think too much. Lu Ming sneered. Boom. At this moment, the underground cave began to shake violently. The pool of blood in the pool of blood surged violently. Clang. The sound of iron chains colliding violently rang out. Not good. Quickly suppress old monster. Yen Quan. The two elders of the Mo family screamed in horror and desperately controlled the inscription formation to suppress the old man in the pool of blood. But bang! In the next moment, there was an explosion. A figure soared into the sky. From the pool of blood, it was an old man in his 60s. His face was covered with a long beard, and his body was extremely burly. He seemed to be more than 2 meters tall. The figure that was dozens of meters tall was not his real body, but a human figure condensed by true chi. Several iron chains as thick as an arm wrapped around the burly old man's body and extended out from the pool of blood. When the burly old man moved, the iron chains clanged. Not good. Yen Quan is about to break free. The two elders of the Mo family screamed in horror. Ha ha ha! The heavens are helping me. Mo family, today, I, Yen Quan, swear that I will destroy your Mo family. The burly old man laughed maniacally. Kill him, quick! The two elders of the Mo family roared and gave up on controlling the inscription formation. A battle sword appeared in their hands, and they slashed at Yen Quan. The sword chi whistled and was extremely shocking. Peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The two elders of the Mo family were terrifyingly strong. They were both at the peak of the 8th martial ancestor realm. A mere 8th martial ancestor realm wants to kill me? You overestimate yourself. Yen Quan laughed and waved his palms. Two terrifying palms struck out towards the two elders of the Mo family. Bang! Bang! With two explosions, the two elders of the Mo family screamed, and their bodies flew out like cannonballs. They crashed heavily into the walls of the cave and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Clang! Yen Quan waved his palms and caused the iron chains to collide. A total of 4 iron chains bound him. He was too strong. Even when he was bound by the iron chains, he was still able to injure the two elders of the 8th martial ancestor realm. His strength was terrifying. You want to bind me with a few pieces of scrap metal? Break! Yen Quan shouted, and a terrifying true chi burst out from his body as he pulled with all his might. Rumble! The entire cave shook violently, and the ground trembled, producing deep rumbling sounds. Not good. Yen Quan is about to break free. Run! The two elders of the Mo family were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They turned around and ran towards the exit. Break! Yen Quan suddenly shouted loudly. He grabbed one of the iron chains and suddenly pulled it. Clang! The iron chain that was as thick as an arm broke into 2. This was not an ordinary iron chain, but a rare black iron with inscriptions carved on it. However, it still broke with a single pull. You want to leave? Go and die. Yen Quan shouted. With a swing of his arm, a broken chain flew out and shot towards the two Mo family elders. Its speed was as fast as lightning, and it instantly caught up to the two Mo family elders. Block! The two elders of the Mo family roared, and each used their strongest move. However, the difference was too big. Bang! Bang! 2 rumbling sounds could be heard, and the two elders' attacks were destroyed. A section of the iron chain crashed into their bodies. Kacha! The sound of bones breaking could be heard. The two elders of the Mo family screamed and flew out. They fell heavily on the ground and were no longer breathing. At this moment, the entire Mo family was in chaos. Just a moment ago, when Yen Quan broke the iron chain, the entire ground of the Mo family shook violently as though there was an earthquake. What is going on? Many disciples of the Mo family panicked. The patriarch of the Mo family and a few elders were guarding the stone house. Other than them, there were a few more people. One of them was the young prince, Yin Jiufeng. beside Injiofeng. There were a few elders with powerful auras. At this moment, the patriarch of the Mo family's face changed drastically. Not good. There's a problem underground. Chapter 330. Quick, gather the clan's experts, and get ready. The Mo family patriarch roared, his voice echoing throughout the Mo family. Whoosh! Whoosh! One figure after another flew toward the Mo clan from every corner. They were all martial ancestor realm experts. As one of the top 10 families of the Moon Empire, the Mo family's strength was not to be underestimated. Apart from the martial ancestor realm experts, there were also some martial grandmasters gathering. In an instant, the front of the stone house was filled with figures. In the underground cave, break! Yen Quan roared, his genuine chi bursting forth like an ancient giant beast struggling. Clang! 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 3 crisp sounds were heard as the remaining 3 chains were broken by Yen Quan. Ha ha ha! After being trapped for more than 10 years, I'm finally free. Mo family, accept my revenge. Yen Quan laughed maniacally, his face revealing a sinister expression. After a while, he turned his gaze towards Lu Ming and Mo Ing. Swoosh! His figure moved and instantly appeared a few meters in front of Lu Ming and Mo Ing. Ah! Mo Ing cried out in fright and involuntarily took 3 steps back. Lu Ming did not move, but his pupils constricted. He held his spear in front of him, ready to fight. Haha, little girl, what are you afraid of? You saved me. Why would I make things difficult for you? Yen Quan grinned at Mo Ing, following which he looked at Lu Ming and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Little brother, it's all thanks to you that I was able to escape this time. This is a huge favor, and I have to repay it. However, now is not the time to talk about this. Let me exterminate the Mo family first before we talk about this. After speaking, Yen Quan laughed and strode towards the exit. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he said, "Let's go out too." He and Mo Ing followed closely behind the old man and walked out. When he passed by the corpses of the 2 elders of the Mo family, Lu Ming silently devoured the blood essence of the 2 elders. The 3 of them walked forward. Soon, they walked out of the underground cave and returned to the stone house. Boom! Yen Quan struck out with his palm, and the stone door of the stone house exploded. Shattered rocks flew everywhere, and a series of exclamations came from outside. Looks like they're all waiting outside. Great, I don't need to look for them. Yen Quan grinned, his eyes filled with killing intent as he strode out. Lu Ming and Mo Ing followed. As soon as he walked out of the stone house, Lu Ming's expression changed. Outside, there were hundreds of people densely packed together. All of them had strong auras. They were all experts. The weakest among them was a martial grand master. Yen Quan. Seeing the 3 of them, the Mo family's patriarch and several elders' faces changed drastically, and they cried out involuntarily. Set up the formation, quickly! An elder screamed. Whoosh! Whoosh! Their figures flashed wildly as at least a few dozen martial arts grandmasters flashed and formed a battle formation. At the front of the battle formation was the Mo family head and a few elders. Mo Ing, how audacious of you! How dare you release the devil suppressed by the clan? This is unforgivable. The head of the Mo family shouted. Mo Ying's delicate body trembled. They were the ones who deceived Mo Ing and wanted to use her life to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. However, as soon as they came out, the head of the Mo family pinned the crime of releasing the devil suppressed by the Mo family on Mo Ing. How shameless! Patriarch, you lied to me. There is no ancestors' inheritance below. You want my life, Mo Ing said in a trembling voice. Shut up, little bitch. You're wrong. How dare you talk back? Kneel down and accept your death." The head of the Mo family shouted, not allowing Mo Ying to talk back. He was no longer as amiable as before. Mo Ying's face was pale, and her delicate body trembled nonstop. She bit her lips so hard that they bled, but she did not realize it. Originally, she still had a glimmer of hope for the Mo family, but now she was in despair. "Ha ha, old man, you lied to your own disciple, saying that you're inheriting the ancestors' inheritance. In fact, you just want the life of a junior to refine the Dark Moon demonic leader. Even now, you're still so dignified. Are you a fucking dog? Don't you have any shame?" Lu Ming laughed and pointed at the head of the Mo family. "Little bastard, what did you say? How dare you talk to me like that?" The head of the Mo family roared, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. "What the fuck are you? Do I have to give you face when I speak? Don't flatter yourself." Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked at the head of the Mo family with contempt, as if he was really looking at a pile of dog shit. This kind of gaze almost made the head of the Mo family vomit blood. He was so angry that his body trembled nonstop. "Ha ha ha, little brother, you've scolded well. The whole Mo family is a pile of dog shit. Ha!" Yan Quan laughed. Damn it, Lu Ming, you actually destroyed the refining of the Dark Moon demonic leader and ruined the plan of the Inouye royal family. Even if you die 10,000 times, you can't make up for it." At this time, a scream filled with resentment sounded. It was Yin Jiufeng. "Oh, isn't this the little prince? Why aren't you going home to drink milk? Do you want to be beaten again?" Lu Ming curled his lips and said. This sentence almost caused Yin Jiufeng to suffer internal injuries. "Lu Ming, if I don't kill you today, I swear I'm not a human." Yin Jiufeng shouted furiously. "If I remember correctly, you also shouted like that last time. Why? Are you still a human?" Lu Ming sneered. "Ah, you kill him for me." Yin Jiufeng's face turned pale, and he almost exploded with anger. "Kill." Behind Yin Jiufeng, two old men shouted and were about to pounce on Lu Ming. "Who can you kill?" Yan Quan shouted coldly and threw out a punch. Bang! Bang! The two old men exploded, and Yin Jiufeng screamed in fear. Under the protection of the remaining two old men, he retreated. "Let's attack together and suppress old demon Yan Quan." The head of the Mo family roared. "Suppress old demon Yan Quan." Everyone from the Mo family shouted. More than 30 martial ancestor realm experts formed a large array and charged towards Yan Quan. Good timing. "Today, I'll settle the score with the Mo family." Yan Quan shouted and charged towards the Mo family. "Kill." Yan Quan shouted, and his aura was shocking. He was like a demon god. He threw out a punch, and a dazzling fist force charge towards the Mo family. Lu Ming could feel that Yan Quan's aura was no weaker than the sect leaders of the 5 major sects in the Burning Sun Empire. He was at the limit of a martial ancestor and was known as a half-king. 100-sword array. Kill. The Mo family did not dare to be careless. More than 30 of them joined forces, and their auras merged to form a huge sword that was a few hundred meters tall and slashed towards Yan Quan. Boom! The huge sword and the fist radiance collided, and there was a loud explosion. The entire Mo family shook violently, and some of the buildings nearby were blown into pieces by the shockwave. They were evenly matched in this exchange. Kill. Immediately, Yan Quan and the Mo family started fighting again. Kill! Kill this little bastard for me right now. Yin Jiufeng shouted. Shush! Shush! Behind Yin Jiufeng, the remaining 2 old men charged towards Lu Ming, and they exuded a powerful aura. 8th Martial Ancestor Realm. Chapter 3:31. Now, let's see who can save you. Yin Jiufeng looked ferocious. However, there was a smile on Lu Ming's face. He stood there motionless. Roar. At this moment, there was a loud roar in the sky. A tall and burly figure fell from the sky and landed heavily between Lu Ming and the two elders, creating a large hole in the ground. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This tall figure was actually the golden-eyed blood zombie. I finally arrived. Lu Ming's lips curled into a smile. Just now, when he came out of the stone house, he noticed the abnormality of the demon suppression token and found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was in the vicinity of Su Tiancheng, probably looking for him. He was not surprised that the golden-eyed blood zombie could escape from the assassins of the Yin Moon Empire. The golden-eyed blood zombie had reached the early 9th level of the martial ancestor realm, and its body was like a diamond. If it wanted to escape, even a half-step king realm expert might not be able to kill it. When Lu Ming found that the golden-eyed blood zombie was nearby, he immediately used the demon suppression token to summon the golden-eyed blood zombie. He also deliberately chatted with Yin Jiufeng to delay time until the golden-eyed blood zombie finally arrived. Golden-eyed, kill them! Lu Ming ordered. Roar. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced. Pung, pung. In just one move, the two elders of the 8th level of the martial ancestor realm that Yin Jiufeng brought flew back screaming. There was a claw wound on each of their bodies. Where the claw had clawed, the flesh and blood had disappeared, revealing the white bones. It was extremely horrifying. This scene was too sudden, and Yin Jiufeng was stunned. Mo Ying, who was beside Lu Ming, was also stunned. She found that she could not see through Lu Ming at all. Since the first time she saw Lu Ming had brought her a series of surprises, since Lu Ming said that she was divided into yin and yang. In her opinion, Lu Ming was a mystery, an unfathomable mystery. Now, there were experts of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm that obeyed him. Monster, go, take the young master away. An elder roared. He wanted to rush over and take Yin Jiufeng away, but it was too late. The golden-eyed blood zombie roared angrily and rushed out. He waved his claws, and the claw light slashed out like a few heavenly blades. Pucci! In just a few moves, the two old men were torn in half by the golden-eyed blood zombie. Ah! Yin Jiufeng screamed in fright. His face was as white as paper, his body trembling. The 4 experts that his father had sent to help him had been killed just like that, leaving him all alone. It's your turn now. Lu Ming smiled at Yin Jiufeng, but Lu Ming's smile, in Yin Jiufeng's eyes, was more terrifying than the devil. Patriarchamo, patriarchamo, save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng screamed in a hoarse voice, but the Mo family head didn't even look at him. What a joke. Save him? Right now, the Mo family was locked in battle with Yen Quan. They couldn't even take care of themselves. So how could they have the time to save him? It seems that no one will come to save you. Lu Ming smiled again, walking step by step towards Yin Jiufeng. No, Lu Ming, don't kill me. My father is the Jinan king. He has a lot of troops. If you kill me, you will also die. And Yin Jiufeng screamed. And what? Last time, I let you go because of the Mo family. This time, you want to use the Mo family to threaten me? And you have tried to kill me many times. How can I let you go? Lu Ming's face finally turned cold. No. Yin Jiufeng screamed and turned to run. But Lu Ming flicked his finger and a spear light shot out, piercing through Yin Jiufeng's back. Yin Jiufeng screamed, lying on the ground, screaming again and again, but he was not dead yet. Lu Ming walked over and squatted down to look at Yin Jiufeng. Save me, save me. Yin Jiufeng struggled, blood flowing out of his mouth. Save you? I will tell you another secret. Then you will not ask me to save you. I have another name, Tianyun. Lu Ming smiled faintly, whispering in Yin Jiufeng's ear. What? Yin Jiufeng's pupils suddenly widened, revealing a look of despair. He growled, Champion, champion. Before he could say the word Marquis, he had already died. The Burning Sun Empire's champion Marquis Tianyun. There was no one in the Yin Moon Empire who did not know him. He had killed several powerful legions of the Yin Moon Empire. His name was known throughout the Yin Moon Empire. When Yin Jiufeng heard that it was Tianyun, in despair, he breathed his last. All around, the great martial masters of the Mo family looked at Lu Ming in horror, not daring to attack. Boom, boom. Between heaven and earth, there was only the sound of Yen Quan and the Mo family's battle echoing. The battle between Yen Quan and the Mo family was still going on, and it was hard to tell who would win. It had to be said that the 100-sword battle formation set up by the Mo family was indeed powerful. With the combination of more than 30 martial ancestor realm experts and the Mo family's master's cultivation of the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm, they were actually able to fight Yen Quan to a draw. Roar! At this moment, the golden eye blood zombie growled beside Lu Ming, his eyes constantly looking in the direction of the stone house. You want to absorb the blood? Lu Ming understood what the golden eye blood zombie meant. The golden eye blood zombie was very eager for the dragon blood in the underground cave. Go, Lu Ming whispered. Swish! Receiving Lu Ming's order, the golden eye blood zombie rushed into the underground cave with a swish. On the other hand, Lu Ming stood still and watched the battle while refining the blood essence. Lu Ming's body had devoured the essence blood of several 8th level martial ancestor realm experts. It was too thick. The essence blood was constantly converted into energy and refined into genuine qi. Lu Ming began to attack the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm. Rumble! Soon, a dull sound came from Lu Ming's body. He had broken through to the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm. Just as Lu Ming broke through to the 4th level of the martial ancestor realm, the 9 dragons' bloodline suddenly roared and rushed out of Lu Ming's body, roaring to the sky. At the same time, the 9 dragons' bloodline's body shape rapidly changed. It was originally a python that was more than 10 meters long. Now it was rapidly growing longer and thicker. The scales on its body became more crystal clear. Then, claws grew out of the python's abdomen, just like dragon claws. 2 horns grew out of the top of its head. A dragon! This was the shape of a dragon. The 9 dragons' bloodline had evolved. After the 9 dragons' bloodline had devoured a shocking amount of essence blood and the dragon's soul, it had finally begun to evolve. From the python form, it had evolved into the dragon form. Roar! The dragon form of the 9 dragons' bloodline roared to the sky. The dragon's roar reverberated, and a bright silver chakra appeared on its body. Level 1 king class bloodline. Around them, the martial grandmasters and Mo Ing of the Mo clan were all dumbfounded. Even the Mo family's martial grandmasters and Yen Quan, who were in the midst of the battle, looked at Lu Ming in shock. The bloodline could evolve from the mortal class to the king class. This was too shocking. It was simply unheard of. There were no records of this in the ancient books. This young man is too extraordinary. Chapter 332. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. The evolution of the 9 dragons' bloodline was too sudden. He could not control it at all. If it was possible, he would not have chosen to evolve his bloodline at this moment. All of you, retreat quickly. Send this news to the South Protecting King and the royal family. This person is a demon. He must be killed. The head of the Mo clan roared at the martial grandmaster realm warriors. A bloodline evolving. This was simply unheard of. It was too shocking. Since such a person was already an enemy, he could not be allowed to live. This was the Immortal clan head's thought. Let's go. There were over 100 martial grandmasters rushing in all directions at this moment. Since that is the case, all of you will stay here. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes emitting a terrifying killing intent. The 9 dragons' bloodline must not be exposed. Although this place was very far away from the headquarters of the Heavenly Deity Palace, it was better to be safe than sorry. If the characteristics of the 9 dragons' bloodline were to reach Martial Monarch D.E., it would be a great disaster for him. These people had to die. Lu Ming soared into the sky. Behind him, the 9 dragons' bloodline appeared. A wriggling dragon that was 100 meters long was suspended above Lu Ming's head. Roar! The 9 dragons' bloodline roared at the sky, and a strong devouring power burst out from its mouth. The strength of this devouring power was dozens of times stronger than before the evolution. The mouth of the 9 dragons' bloodline was like a black hole. A terrifying devouring power spread out, enveloping over 100 martial grandmasters. More than 100 warriors in the great martial mentor realm seemed to have been frozen in place. Then, they revealed extremely terrified expressions. The power of my bloodline is flowing away. Not good. I feel like my essence blood is being sucked out. The 100 martial grandmasters let out terrified cries. Devour! A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes as he shouted softly. Roar! The 9 dragons' bloodline roared, and the devouring power in its mouth became even stronger. Following that, a terrifying scene occurred. Over 100 martial grandmasters, all kinds of blood vessels floated above their heads. These blood vessels let out a mournful wail and actually left their masters. They flew towards the 9 dragons' blood vessels and were swallowed by the 9 dragons' blood vessels. My bloodline power has been devoured. A blood-curdling scream rang out, but the next moment, the scream abruptly stopped. This was because 9 drops of blood essence flew out from each person's body and were devoured by the 9 dragons' bloodline. More than 100 people were lying flat on the ground, no longer breathing. The scene was completely silent. Even the great battle between the Mo clan's martial ancestors and Yen Quan had temporarily stopped. Everyone stared at Lu Ming, dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. A single roar from his bloodline had actually devoured the bloodline power and blood essence of over 100 people. What kind of ability was this? He was simply a demon. Demon, you are a demon. Someone from the Mo family shouted. What demon? In my opinion, your Mo clan is the real devil. All of you deserve to die. Kill. Yen Quan roared as he charged towards the Mo family. The two sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. Mo Ing looked at Lu Ming in horror. I never thought that after the 9 dragons' bloodline evolved to the king level, its devouring power would be so terrifying that it could directly devour living people. Even Lu Ming himself was shocked. In the past, it could only devour the blood essence of those who had died in battle. Now that the 9 dragons' bloodline had evolved to the king level, it could even devour living people. Those martial artists were only martial masters. I wonder if it would be effective against martial artists above the martial ancestor realm. At the thought of this, Lu Ming cast his gaze towards the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Let's give it a try. Immediately, Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons' bloodline, and the terrifying devouring power enveloped the Mo clan's martial ancestor realm experts. Immediately, some of the martial ancestor realm experts with lower cultivation levels trembled, and their bloodline power became unstable. What kind of power is this? The martial ancestor realm experts roared as their genuine chi exploded wildly, to resist Lu Ming's devouring power. It is more effective against martial artists below the fourth martial ancestor realm, as it can affect the stability of the bloodline. It is also effective against martial artists above the fourth martial ancestor realm, but it is relatively less effective. In an instant, Lu Ming came to a conclusion. For martial artists with lower cultivation levels than him, it was still effective. It could affect the circulation of their bloodline, but it could not devour their blood essence and bloodline power like a martial grandmaster. It would be blocked. For martial artists with a higher cultivation level than Lu Ming, it was also effective, but the effect was relatively small. However, it was not to be underestimated. If his opponent's bloodline and blood essence were affected in a big battle, their combat strength would be greatly reduced. Be careful. At this moment, the Mo clan head roared. Due to the influence of Lu Ming's bloodline's devouring power, the Mo clan's 100-sword battle formation became unstable. Yen Quan seized the opportunity to attack fiercely and was at a disadvantage. The Mo clan will be destroyed today. Yen Quan roared as his attacks were like a tidal wave. Hold on, hold on. Yen Quan has been suppressed for more than 10 years and is heavily injured. This is only a temporary eruption. He won't be able to hold on for long. When he can't hold on any longer, it will be our time to counterattack. At that time, everything will still be under our control. The Mo clan head roared. Everyone from the Mo clan calmed down and used all of their strength to stabilize the situation. Yen Quan's face was somewhat gloomy. His situation was indeed, as the Mo clan head had said. He had been suppressed for too long and suffered all kinds of torture. There were many hidden injuries on his body. Now, he was only using a secret technique to erupt with his peak strength. However, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Once the secret technique's duration was up, he would fall into a passive situation. Immediately, Yen Quan used all of his strength and attacked with all his might. Ha! Yen Quan can't hold on any longer. Just as I guessed, we can hold on. The Mo clan had laughed and revealed a joyful expression. Boom! At this moment, a huge explosion sounded from the ground behind the stone house, following which a blood-colored pillar of light shot out from the ground and pierced through the clouds. Shwa! Following which a tall and sturdy figure rushed out from the blood-colored pillar of light. Golden-eyed blood zombie. This figure was the golden-eyed blood zombie that had gone to the underground cave to absorb the flood dragon's blood. However, the aura emitted by the golden-eyed blood zombie was extremely terrifying. It was not any weaker than Yen Quan's. This was the aura of a half-step king. Who would have thought that after absorbing the flood dragon's blood, the golden-eyed blood zombie would advance from the 9th level of the martial ancestor realm to the half-step king level? Furthermore, it had only taken such a short time. After being stunned for a moment, Lu Ming was overjoyed. Golden-eyed, kill them! Lu Ming pointed at the Mo clan members. Roar! The golden-eyed blood zombie roared and pounced towards the Mo clan members. Not good! Block it, block it! The Mo clan head's face changed drastically. Ha ha! The heavens want your Mo clan to die. Die! How could Yen Quan miss this opportunity? He laughed heartily and attacked the Mo clan members. Devour! Lu Ming controlled the 9 dragons' bloodline again, and a powerful devouring force was used on the Mo clan members. Boom! Boom! 2 explosions sounded, following which screams rang out. Some of the Mo clan members who were only at the 1st or 2nd level of the martial ancestor realm were directly killed by the terrifying energy. Even those with higher cultivation were greatly shaken. Chapter 333. Under the combined attacks of Yen Quan, Golden-Eye Blood Zombie, and Lu Ming, the 100-sword battle formation of the Mo family collapsed. 7 or 8 martial ancestor, realm first, and second realm experts were instantly killed. Not good. Run, run. At this moment, the MO family head was terrified as he roared crazily. The 100-sword battle formation had been broken, and the other side had 2 half-step King Realm experts. There was no need to fight. If they stayed, they would definitely die. After the MO family had roared, he turned into a ray of light and fled crazily into the distance. You want to leave? No one can leave. Yen Quan roared as he chased after the MO family head. In a few breaths, he caught up with the MO family head. Yen Quan. The MO family head roared as he launched a frenzied counterattack. However, the difference between an ordinary martial ancestor, realm 9th realm, and a half-step king was obvious. In just a few moves, the MO family head was beaten until he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Die! Yen Quan shouted as he grabbed the head of the MO clan's patriarch and twisted it, twisting his head off. Ha ha ha! Kill, kill, kill! Yen Quan roared with laughter as he continued to chase after the others. Whoosh! Whoosh! On the other side, Lu Ming's long spear was constantly thrusting. Streaks of spear radiance shot out and pierced a few martial ancestor realm 3rd and 4th realm MO family martial artists into sieves. The golden-eye blood zombie's body flashed rapidly as it waved its claws and tore the MO family martial ancestor realm experts into pieces. This was a massacre. The MO family martial ancestor realm experts were as weak as babies in front of the golden-eye blood zombie and Yen Quan. Even if there were some who managed to escape, they would be caught and killed. Lu Ming did not have the slightest bit of mercy. The Dark Moon Empire and the Burning Sun Empire were at war and were originally enemies. Moreover, it was the MO family who wanted to take his life first. Since they were enemies, there was no need to show mercy. Being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. Kill! Lu Ming held his long spear and fought while bathed in blood. He had broken through to the 4th realm martial ancestor realm. Martial ancestor realm experts were no threat to him. Little bastard, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. A 7th martial ancestor, realm elder, from the MO family roared as he charged towards Lu Ming. Roar! The 9 dragons' bloodline roared, and a terrifying devouring power acted on the old man, causing his body to slow down. Whoosh! Lu Ming rushed over, the long spear piercing through his heart, creating a large hole. A one-hit kill. Then the essence blood and bloodline power all flew into the 9 dragons' bloodline's mouth. In the sky above, the MO family screams rose and fell. Not far away, the MO clan's martial masters, warriors, and even those with lower cultivations were frantically fleeing in all directions. Lu Ming did not kill these people. These people hadn't seen Lu Ming's bloodline evolve, and they posed no threat to him, so there was no need to kill them. At this moment, Su Tiancheng fell into a deathly silence. Countless people were hiding in their homes, trembling. After a while, the screams stopped. The dozens of martial arts grandmasters from the MO family were all killed. Roar! The golden-eye blood zombie roared. Blood chi rose from his body, and his body turned red. However, his eyes were even more dazzling. Mo Ing stood there in a daze as she scanned her surroundings. Corpses came into her sight, and her eyes were filled with complicated emotions. In this short period of time, her life had undergone earth-shaking changes. These people were the elders of the Mo family that she respected. However, she suddenly found out that these people were just using her. For a moment, she found it hard to accept. Lu Ming did not speak. He just stood there quietly. After a while, Lu Ming said, "Miss Mo Ing, I'm leaving. What are your plans? Although Mo Ing had seen his bloodline evolve, he could not do such a thing as killing Mo Ing to silence her. Mo Ying's body trembled, and she seemed to have come to her senses. She squeezed out an ugly smile and said, "Brother Lu, I plan to leave the Yin Moon Empire and travel the world." Lu Ming nodded and said, "That's good too." Lu Ming knew that Mo Ing held a grudge against him. After all, Mo Ing was a member of the Mo family. Lu Ming had killed so many people from the Mo family. It was normal for Mo Ing to hold a grudge against him. Therefore, Lu Ming did not invite Mo Ing to go with him. "Brother Lu, we'll meet again if fate wills it," Mo Ing said softly. She glanced at the Mo family, then turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the sky. "Ha ha, little brother, I can't bear to part with you." At this moment, Yen Quan appeared beside Lu Ming. "No, I'm just lamenting. Sometimes fate is unpredictable," Lu Ming said with a smile. "That's right. Fate is unpredictable. That's why we have to cultivate martial arts to break the shackles of fate and fight against the heavens." Yen Quan grinned and said, "Little brother, this time it's all thanks to your help that I was able to escape. If you have any requests, feel free to ask. As long as it's within my means, I'll do my best." Lu Ming shook his head and said with a smile, "Senior, you're being too polite. It's just a coincidence." "That won't do. In my life, I've always repaid kindness with kindness and hatred with revenge. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease. This time, it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to escape and would have been refined into the Inua Devil Lord, sinking into oblivion forever. This is a great favor, and I have to repay it," Yen Quan said stubbornly. This Lu Ming's eyes flashed. To be honest, Yen Quan's combat strength was extremely powerful. It would be a lie to say that he did not want to ask Yen Quan for help. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming said, "Senior, please stay by my side and help me for a period of time. Is that possible?" "All right, I'll stay by your side and help you for 10 years. After 10 years, we'll be even. How about that?" Yen Quan said. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He hurriedly cupped his fists and said, "Thank you, Senior." The current situation in the Burning Sun Empire was complicated. With Yen Quan's help and the GoldenEye blood zombie, Lu Ming had the strength to protect himself. Only then could he become a true overlord in the Burning Sun Empire. He would also have the strength to contend with the 10 Direction Sword faction. One had to know that in the Burning Sun Empire, a half-step king was the strongest. The Burning Sun Empire had not produced a true king for several hundred years. Yen Quan grinned. In fact, Yen Quan was also extremely curious about Lu Ming. At such a young age, not only was he extremely powerful, but he also had a powerful existence like the GoldenEye blood zombie by his side. Yen Quan had lived for so long, but this was the first time he had encountered such a person. "Senior, to be honest, I'm actually not from the Inua Empire, but from the Burning Sun Empire. Moreover, the Burning Sun Empire and the Inua Empire are currently at war. I wonder if Senior would mind?" Lu Ming said. "War between the two empires? It just so happens that the Inua Empire's royal family is despicable and shameless. They tried to assassinate me. I'm just about to settle the score with them, heading to the Burning Sun Empire, and killing the experts of the Inua Empire is exactly what I want." Yen Quan laughed. "All right, then let's go," Lu Ming said. Subsequently, the GoldenEye blood zombie and Yen Quan turned into a ray of light and disappeared, heading towards the Moon City. On the way, Lu Ming roughly explained his identity and the current situation. Chapter 334. Yen Quan was not from the Yin Moon Empire. He was an outsider who had traveled to the Moon Empire a dozen years ago. During that time, he had met a top expert from the Moon imperial family and the Mo family's previous family master. The three of them had a good relationship back then. However, the Mo family's previous family master and the Moon imperial family's previous family master were ambitious. They had secretly poisoned Yen Quan and then sealed him under the Mo family's ground. They wanted to refine him into an Moon demonic leader. They had been sealed for more than a dozen years. If Lu Ming had not encountered this matter by chance, he would not have been able to escape the fate of being refined into an Moon demonic leader. Along the way, Yen Quan's expression suddenly changed slightly as he revealed a bitter smile and said, "This old man has been suppressed for more than 10 years and has suffered heavy injuries. Earlier, I forcefully unleashed my secret technique. Now that the secret technique's duration has passed, I need to find a place to heal." "Senior, healing is more important," Lu Ming said. They found a secluded place. Yen Quan sat down cross-legged and started to heal his injuries. Lu Ming asked the Golden Eye blood zombie to patrol the surroundings while he sat down cross-legged. He had devoured a large amount of blood essence, and now it was time to refine it. Half of it was absorbed by his bloodline, and the other half was converted into true qi. There were dozens of martial ancestors from the Mo family. Among them, there were a few martial ancestors of the 8th realm and the Mo family's family master, who was a martial ancestor of the 9th realm. How strong was the blood essence? Lu Ming's cultivation rose rapidly. One day later, Lu Ming's cultivation had reached the peak of the 4th realm of the martial ancestor realm. However, no matter how hard Lu Ming tried, he could not break through. Lu Ming knew that his cultivation had risen too quickly, and his true qi was not pure. His foundation was not stable, and he needed time to improve. Lu Ming then used the remaining blood essence to improve his bloodline. However, after refining all the blood essence, his 9 dragons bloodline was still at the 1st realm of the king bloodline. It was too difficult to improve his bloodline. At that moment, Yen Quan was still healing his injuries. His body was emitting a scorching red aura as he nurtured his body. Yen Quan's recuperation took 7 days. After 7 days, Yen Quan opened his eyes. "Senior, how do you feel?" Lu Ming asked. "After being suppressed for more than a decade, there are simply too many hidden injuries all over my body. It'll be difficult for me to make a full recovery in a short period of time. However, I've managed to stabilize my condition for the time being. It shouldn't be a problem for me to exert my full strength during the battle. As for the other hidden injuries, I should be able to make a full recovery soon." Yen Quan said, "That's great," Lu Ming said with a smile. After that, the three of them continued their journey. With their speed, it only took half a day to return to Full Moon City. Of course, on the way, Lu Ming put on his mask again and returned to the appearance of Tianyun. "The Marquis is back." When the Scarlet Blood cavalrymen in charge of patrolling the camp saw Lu Ming, they cried out in pleasant surprise. Then, the news of Lu Ming's return spread throughout Full Moon City at a crazy speed, causing a huge sensation. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures shot through the air at an extremely fast speed. It was Autumn Moon and Xian Yanqing. "Young master." Seeing Lu Ming, Autumn Moon was incomparably excited. She wasn't afraid of being shy and threw herself into Lu Ming's arms. Tears flowed down like pearls, and she cried like a pear blossom in the rain. Young master, you're finally back. We saw the traces of the battle at the place where Golden Eye was cultivating. We thought you. Woo-woo, it's great that you're back." Autumn Moon cried loudly. Strings of tears flowed down, wetting Lu Ming's clothes. "Silly girl, your young master is blessed. How could something happen to him so easily? Moreover, I can't bear to part with my family's autumn moon." Lu Ming stroked Autumn Moon's hair and said softly. Only then did Autumn Moon feel a little better. She left Lu Ming's arms, but her eyes were red and tears were still rolling. On the side, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth when he saw this scene. He didn't say anything. "Humph, you're so comfortable. You're so warm and soft as soon as you come back." After a while, Xian Yanqing gritted his teeth and said, "Xiao Qing, now that my arms are empty, do you want to try?" Lu Ming blinked and smiled. "Try your head. It's good that you're not dead." Xian Yanqing continued to snort coldly. "Haha, I still owe you a favor. How can I die before I complete it?" Lu Ming laughed. "Humph, it's good that you remember." Xian Yanqing snorted again. At this time, Hua Ying and the other Qi Xia cavalry warriors appeared one by one. Then it was Ming Meng, Miang Cheng, and the other two siblings. "Greetings, Marquis." When they saw Lu Ming, they all bowed. "No need to be so polite. Let's go back to the camp." Lu Ming waved his hand. On the way, Yan Quan saw the majestic Qi Xia cavalry, and his eyes flashed with a strange light. However, Lu Ming frowned, because he found that the entire camp was heavily guarded, and the atmosphere was very heavy. Did another big battle happen recently? Hua Ying, how's the situation? Did another big battle happen? I feel that the atmosphere in the camp is not right. When they arrived at the camp, Lu Ming asked, "Marquis, something big happened." This was Hua Ying's first sentence. His expression was very heavy. Lu Ming raised his eyebrows and looked around. He found that Ming Meng, Miang Cheng, and the others all had heavy expressions. Lu Ming had a bad premonition and asked, "Tell me what happened." "Marquis, the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed." Hua Ying replied. "What?" Even with Lu Ming's calmness, his body shook violently, and his eyes showed disbelief. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was one of the 5 great sects of the Blazing Sun Empire. It dominated the northern part of the Blazing Sun Empire and was incomparably powerful. How could such a powerful force be annihilated just like that? Even if the 10 Directions Sword sect attacked with all their strength, they might not be able to take down the Ghost Moon Saber sect. What the hell is going on? Lu Ming took a deep breath to calm himself down. "Marquis, 10 days ago, the Yin Moon Empire sent out 2 million troops to invade the territory of the Ghost Moon Saber sect. The Ghost Moon Saber sect sent out a large number of experts to resist. However, they never expected that, at this time, a large number of experts from the omnidirectional sword sect would launch a surprise attack on the Ghost Moon Saber sect. At the same time, a portion of the Ghost Moon Saber sect had already surrendered to the omnidirectional sword sect. They attacked the Ghost Moon Saber sect from the inside. Afterwards, the 10 Directions Sword sect sent out many experts to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts together with the Yin Moon Empire's experts. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was caught off guard, and their experts were all killed. The Ghost Moon Saber sect was completely destroyed. Hua Ying explained. "So that's how it is. I understand. This was a trap set from the beginning." Lu Ming suddenly understood. Obviously, the 10 Directions Sword sect had cooperated with the Yin Moon Empire long ago. Therefore, the Yin Moon Empire's army attacked. Their goal was to attract the Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts so that they could prepare to attack the Ghost Moon Saber sect. Unfortunately, last time, the Yin Moon Empire had suffered great losses because of Lu Ming's sabotage. They did not attract many Ghost Moon Saber sect's experts. Therefore, there were assassins who tried to assassinate Lu Ming. Moreover, there were people from the Shadow Wolf Pavilion among the assassins. After thinking about it, everything became clear. 10 Directions Sword Sect, you 10 Directions Sword Sect. Chapter 335. Marquis, The annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect has shaken the entire Burning Sun Empire. We're in the north, not far from the Ghost Moon Saber sect. We're afraid that the Decimo Sword sect will attack us, so we're on high alert. Hua Ying explained. After the annihilation of the Ghost Moon Saber sect, the Een Moon Empire's army has moved south and occupied a large part of the Burning Sun Empire's territory. I guess that's what the Decimo Sword sect promised the Een Moon Empire. They're really a bunch of traitors. Ming Meng gritted his teeth. Then, did the Decimo Sword sect make any new moves during this period? Lu Ming asked. Not yet. Hua Ying said, pay attention to the news from the outside world. The Decimo Sword sect's actions have shaken the entire empire. The other sects will definitely join forces. This isn't good news for the Decimo Sword sect. So, the Decimo Sword sect will definitely make a big move. Lu Ming analyzed. At this moment, Ming Meng's expression changed slightly. He moved his hand, and a jade token appeared. This was a 1,000 miles voice transmission talisman. Usually, a general would have one to send messages. When Ming Meng saw the message from the 10,000 miles sound transmitting talisman, his body shook violently. His face suddenly became incomparably pale, without a trace of blood. How could this be? Ming Meng roared. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Brother Ming, what's going on? Lu Ming asked hurriedly. He had a bad feeling in his heart. The Sky Suppressor rebelled. He led the army to break into the imperial capital and flattened the palace. The emperor was killed. Ming Meng said in a trembling voice. What? Ming Meng's words were like a bolt from the blue. Most of the people present, including Lu Ming, were shocked. Lu Ming, Hua Ying, and the others' faces turned pale. The Sky Suppressor, the Decimo Sword sect. Lu Ming roared, his killing intent surging. The Sky Suppressor couldn't have done it alone. Needless to say, the Decimo Sword sect was behind all this. Traitor! Traitor! How dare the Sky Suppressor? How dare he? Hua Ying roared hysterically, his eyes red. He was a member of the imperial family. He almost went crazy. The Sky Suppressor's banner is to eliminate the incapable emperor and rebuild the Burning Sun Empire. Ha, how shameless! Ming Meng laughed in anger. Father, mother! Lu Ming's first, Lu Yuntian. How were Lu Yuntian and Li Ping doing in the general hall? At the thought of this, Lu Ming was burning with anxiety. Master, and Madam, and the others? By the side, Chiu Yu grabbed Lu Ming's arm tightly. Her entire body was trembling slightly, and she was extremely worried. Big Brother Ming, is there any other news? Imperial family's emperor is alive. Lu Ming forced himself to calm down. He sect, king from the sect. Ming sect. According to the news, the sky-suppressing king actually attacked. His Majesty and the experts of the royal family fought back with all their might. In the end, the 8th prince escaped with a group of people. However, after the 8th prince escaped from the royal capital, there was no news of him. Ming Meng said, Hua Qi escaped. Lu Ming's eyes lit up with a glimmer of hope. If Hua Qi escaped, he would definitely bring Lu Yuntian and Li Ping with him. Then Lu Yuntian and Li Ping might be fine. 10 Directions Sword Faction. If anything happens to my parents, I swear I'll kill all of you. Lu Ming clenched his fists. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Marquis, what should we do now? From now on, my Zhenyu army will listen to the Marquis. Ming Meng cupped his fists and knelt on one knee. Good. Lu Ming agreed without hesitation. Marquis Champion was of a higher rank than Ming Meng. It was normal for him to lead the Mountain Suppression Army. Everyone, listen to my order. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and began to give the order. Please give your orders, Marquis. Hua Ying, Ming Meng, and the others knelt on one knee. Full Moon City is located in the north. The Inua Empire is in the north, and the Shifang sword sect is in the south. It is very unfavorable for us. We should not stay here for long. Ming Meng, you will lead the Mountain Suppression Army to the east and head to the Wang Immortal Pass. The Wang Immortal Pass is easy to defend and difficult to attack. It is a natural stronghold and has always obeyed the orders of the royal family. We will not ally ourselves with the Shifang sword sect. Once we reach the Wang Immortal Pass, we can ally ourselves with the Mystic Essence sword sect and fight against the Shifang sword sect. Lu Ming ordered. He knew that the Burning Sun Empire was in chaos. There would definitely be a great war in the future. Yes, Marquis Champion, Ming Meng said. Also, 30,000 red blood cavalry will follow me to the imperial capital and save the 8th prince. Lu Ming ordered. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Yes, Hua Ying and the others accepted the order loudly. Marquis, you can't. The Shifang sword sect is full of experts. It is too dangerous. Ming Meng's expression changed drastically as he objected. Although the red blood cavalry was strong, they could only be used as vanguard. If the Shifang sword sect sent out experts to assassinate Lu Ming, it would be dangerous. The others also hesitated. Don't worry. I will kill every Shifang sword sect that I see, Lu Ming said coldly. Rumble. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound came from outside. Report, there is a large army coming from outside. A soldier came to report. It must be the Shifang sword sect. The Shifang sword sect is finally here. I knew that they would not leave us here. Ming Meng's expression changed. Good timing, Qixie cavalry, follow me into battle. Lu Ming ordered. Yes. Hua Ying and the others accepted the order loudly. Rumble. Not long after, Lu Ming rode on the red blood-scaled wolf king, followed by Xian Yanqing, Qiuyu, the golden-eyed blood zombie, Yan Quan, Hua Ying, Ming Meng, and the rest. He led 30,000 red blood-armored cavalry out of the military camp and arrived outside Full Moon City. In front of them, smoke and dust filled the air. A majestic army appeared in their line of sight. Black war horses, black armor, and black weapons. Between the heavens and the earth, a black torrent of steel spread over. A large flag with a divine sword embroidered on it fluttered in the wind. That is the Ghost Iron Army of the Ghost Moon Saber sect. It seems that the Ghost Iron Army has already joined the Shifang sword sect. Ming Meng's expression changed. That large flag was the flag of the Shifang sword sect. Lu Ming nodded. After the Ghost Moon Saber sect was destroyed, some of the army under the Ghost Moon Saber sect had joined the Shifang sword sect. This was normal. Rumble. The Ghost Iron Army stopped a few miles away. Their aura was heavy and dense. Looking at their numbers, there should be no less than 100,000 people. Shwa, shwa. A few figures flew out from the Ghost Iron Army and hovered in the air above Lu Ming and the others. There was a total of 3 people, an old man and 2 middle-aged men. They all carried battle swords on their backs. With one look, one could tell that they were experts of the Shifang sword sect. The 3 of them emitted an extremely powerful aura, a peak 8th martial ancestor realm and 2 peak 7th martial ancestor realm. Chapter 336. The 3 men from the Decimo sword sect glanced at Lu Ming and the others before fixing their eyes on Lu Ming. You're Tianyun? The leading old man asked. That's right. Lu Ming said indifferently. He wanted to see what they were up to. Tianyun, you've repeatedly gone against the Decimo sword sect and killed our geniuses. Do you know what you've done? The leading old man stared coldly at Lu Ming. Do I know what I've done? I haven't even told you that I've killed your bastards. How can I know what I've done? What's wrong with that? Lu Ming replied indifferently. He didn't take them seriously at all. The leading old man's face turned pale, and he emitted a cold, killing intent. After a while, he calmed down and waved his sleeve. Tianyun, there are no eternal enemies in the world. There are only eternal interests. Today, I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself. As long as you lead the Red Blood Cavalry and submit to the Decimo Sword Sect and make a blood oath to be loyal to us, I'll consider letting you go. All the crimes you've committed in the past can be written off. After the old man finished speaking, everyone understood what he meant. Now that the Red Blood Army was powerful and famous in the Inuit country and the Scorching Sun country, the Decimo Sword Sect was going to recruit Lu Ming. Lu Ming sneered. You want me to let you go? What do you think you are? You're just an old bastard. Do you really think you're a big shot? Well, are you done talking nonsense? If you're done, you can die. Lu Ming glanced at the old man and lost his patience. Little bastard, since you refuse a toast, I'll kill you today. After killing you, the Red Blood Army will still belong to the Decimo Sword Sect. Die. The old man's face darkened completely. He shouted and slashed out with his sword. This slash revealed the old man's strength of the 8th martial ancestor realm. It had the power to break mountains and rivers. It was extremely shocking. Oh no, be careful! Ming Ming shouted. Young master, get out of the way. Marquis, on the autumn moon, Xian Yanqing, Hua Ying, and the others were all shocked. No matter how strong Lu Ming was, it was impossible for him to be a match for a martial artist at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. But Lu Ming rode on top of the crimson blood scale, Wolf King, motionless. Die. The old man revealed a ferocious expression. The sword light became even more resplendent as it rapidly slashed towards Lu Ming's head. Seeing that it was about to behead Lu Ming, the old man was overjoyed. What kind of peerless genius is that? What kind of genius is that? What kind of genius is that? You're still going to die in my hands. But as soon as he thought this, he saw a slap coming from beside Lu Ming. Bang! When this slap landed on his sword light, it was as if the sword light was made of tofu and instantly shattered. The old man was stunned. Ming Ming, Autumn Moon, and the others were also stunned. It's just a fly making a big fuss here. It's so annoying. Yen Quan appeared beside Lu Ming and said indifferently, that slap just now was naturally from Yen Quan. Who are you? I'm an elder of the Decimo Sword Sect. How dare you? The old man from the Decimo Sword Sect was stunned for a moment before he shouted. But before he could finish, Yen Quan slapped him again. Slap. No one could see how this slap was delivered. It was too fast. They only saw a blur before they heard a crisp slap. Then they saw the old man from the Decimo Sword Sect cry out in pain as he was sent flying. In the air, his head was like a watermelon as it exploded with a bang. Red and white matter splattered everywhere. Ming Ming and the others almost bit their tongues as their eyes almost popped out. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was considered a top expert in the Blazing Sun Empire. In the 5 major sects, he was definitely a superior existence. His status was even higher than an ordinary golden-robed elder. Ordinary golden-robed elders were only at the martial arts grandmaster realm. An expert at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm was slapped to death with a single slap. That was too shocking. The old man beside Lu Ming was actually such a terrifying expert. Previously, When Ming Meng and the others saw Yen Quan, they had only guessed that he was an ordinary martial arts grandmaster. They had never expected him to be so terrifying. Then, they looked at Lu Ming with even more respect. How did Lu Ming manage to have such a person by his side? The remaining 2 burly men from the Decimo Sword sect were scared out of their wits. At that moment, they shouted and turned to run. "You want to run away in front of me? How is that possible?" Yen Quan laughed coldly as he threw out a punch. Boom, boom. 2 bursts of fist force shot out. The 2 burly men at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm were drowned by the fist force. When the fist force disappeared, there was nothing left of the 2 burly men. Yen Quan had easily taken care of 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. Once again, everyone was dumbfounded. Only Lu Ming was an exception. What a waste, what a waste. Lu Ming was heartbroken. Yen Quan's punch had even burned their blood essence. How could Lu Ming not be heartbroken? Those were 2 experts at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm. The commotion here naturally shocked the Ghost Iron Army several miles away. Oh no, Tianyan has made his move. Kill them all. Of course, there were experts from the Decimo Sword sect in the Ghost Army. At that moment, they roared and led the army to charge at Lu Ming and the others. Charge, destroy them. Lu Ming shouted coldly, "Roar, roar, roar." The crimson blood-scaled wolves howled, and their roars shook the sky as they charged at the Ghost Army. Their aura was so strong that it shook the heavens and the earth. Oh no, the mounts are frightened. Charge, beast, hurry up and charge. The howls of the 30,000 crimson blood-scaled wolves frightened the mounts of the Ghost Army and caused their formation to become unstable. In a short while, the crimson blood-scaled wolves had reached them. Boom! The 2 armies slammed into each other. At that moment, the difference between the 2 armies was obvious. The Ghost Army was like a piece of paper, while the crimson blood-scaled wolves were like a blade. As soon as they collided, the Ghost Army was torn apart, and this gap was rapidly expanding. Hold on, you trash! An expert from the Decimo Sword sect shouted. What are you shouting for? At this moment, Yen Quan's figure appeared beside him. Ah, help! Just as he was about to shout, his head was chopped off by Yen Quan. Yen Quan leaped through the army and killed the martial arts grandmaster expert. No one could stop him. A half-step king. Only a half-step king could stop him. It was simply cheating to kill a half-step king. The difference was too big, and it was no longer something that could be solved by numbers. Unless there was a battle formation like the MO family and dozens of martial arts grandmasters, they would be able to resist. Roar! Above Lu Ming's head, the 9 dragons' bloodline floated. With a loud roar, a terrifying devouring power erupted. Immediately, the power of bloodline and blood essence of hundreds of Ghost Legion soldiers were devoured. Wherever Lu Ming passed, corpses were left behind. This was a one-sided battle. The Ghost Army could not stop the crimson blood-scaled wolves at all.